Welcome to this very special edition of Sports Connection, a live stream. It's Media Day. Tay Matthews, my co-host. I'm Darren Joines, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, and we're very excited to be a part of our first, Tay Matthews, first Girls Flag Football Media Day. As always, we're live here at MAFIAoZA's. For those out there watching the live stream, plenty of time to get down here. Get you some great smelling pizza. If you could smell it over the live stream, you'd be here, right, Tate?
Without a doubt. It's phenomenal.
But, Tate, first annual, pretty exciting.
First of many to come, right?
We hope.
And first county, first school system to have ladies flag football in the state. There are some other states that have it. I know you're going to get into it, but I guarantee you none of them have had a media day to kick off the season. This is probably the first anywhere.
Well, and this is probably the time to mention this, Tate. Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet, without them, none of this ever happens. A great sponsor of the WCS Sports Conference. Mr. Tate Matthews, Matthews team, and Adidas always taking care of us. I'm excited about our uniforms, Tate. You did a great job on them. Always appreciate you being a part of it. The Titans, who actually first approached us about doing this, along with the TSSAA, our sanctioning body for high school sports, and then the folks at NFL Flag, who we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Lance West and the crew at WCTV, always appreciate Lance and what he does for making this live stream happen. John Long, Angie Smith from MAFIAoZA's. I've been here many times. I'm going to tell you, Tate, the service this time has maybe been better than ever, which is saying something, right?
Because it was already top-notch.
It's already top-notch.
That is a heck of an endorsement, and you know the venue that you've got here when we've had these is perfect. It's open. They got the heaters on.
Thank goodness.
If you are coming, bring a light pullover or a jacket. But if not, they've got the heaters on.
An Adidas golf pullover is perfect.
Perfect. That's right.
Light.
But functional.
Hey, the group from Outside the Lines, we mention them all the time. So proud of them. Part of a work-based learning program. They're basically getting course credit for helping out with the WCS Sports Conference. They've worked way more hours than they've needed to, by the way. Don't let them know. Tia Atkinson from Page High School, Caitlin Cohey, Renaissance, McKinley Johnston from Summit High School, Brooks Taylor from Ravenwood High School. So appreciate them being here too. Now, Tate, let's just jump right into this because we've got to get our teams up here in a little bit. How this all came about. There was a conversation basically where Mark Reeves from TSSAA had a conversation with Richard McWhirter, Bernard Childress, who heads up TSSAA, and the folks from the Titans, Josh Corey, who we're hoping Josh gets here pretty soon. We can talk to him. Okay, get ready. He's here. He's going to bring him up here in a minute. Josh reached out to us early on. Director of Marketing, Community and Youth Engagement. We'll ask him what that's all about here in just a minute. Burton Hill, president of the Titans, big part of this. John Robinson, general manager. He was involved in the press conference that happened. Gil Beverly, Kate Guerra, Savannah Howie, Nick Conklin, Surf Melendez. I could go on and on and on about this group. Certainly Dr. Qualls, Jeremy Qualls, who's our CTE director, former athletic director. He's been heavily involved in our work with the Titans, so appreciate that as well. But they basically reached out, Tate, and said, we've got this idea. We would like to pilot, test market, so to speak, girls flag football, and we were wondering if you guys in Williamson County would be interested. Now, how fast do you think I answered that question?
0.5 seconds.
Maybe they didn't even get the whole thing out.
They didn't get the question out.
Probably could have gotten more out of them. I just said
we were wondering, yes.
So it was exciting. Now, once that happened, now the big work started, right? We had you were part of this, which was great. Had the press conference, I think it was June 1st, where we were there at the Titans facility. A lot of our media members who are here today, certainly appreciate them for supporting WCS Sports Conference. They were there, had some broadcast outlets there that day, but you were there, Tate. Why don't you kind of give the audience an idea about what that day was like, where we basically rolled out and said, we're going to do this thing. We had the Adidas uniforms, which looked great, but just talk about that day a little bit.
Well, it was unbelievable. First of all, it was at the Titans Stadium up in the club level. You don't get up there just by stopping by and asking if you can go. And so it was held there. John Robinson, the general manager of the Titans, was there. Josh was there. You spoke. It was unbelievable, really. And the young ladies were there in kind of the uniform reveal. I thought that was awesome. A young lady from each team was there, and you know, talked about what it was and why it was something that they wanted to. First of all, the fact that the NFL is so heavily involved in it, that speaks volumes to me, right? And so, you know, just I always like hearing the young people talk, you know, and seeing them like our OTL crew, you know, see them interact with adults. I'm always impressed and amazed at how mature they are and how they handle themselves, right? So, but hearing everybody talk about that, and then they got to go down to the field and throw the ball around a little bit. And Dr. Qualls was down there. I'm not so sure he didn't throw his shoulder out, but
I feel like he might have been applying for a job too when he was down there.
He could still throw the ball a little bit, but
handed his resume out to a couple of people.
Of course,
just in case this education thing doesn't work out.
That's right. Always networking. So, but you know, and again, so walk down the tunnel. I believe it was the same tunnel that the Titans come out, the players come out, and then they got to, you know, pitch and catch the ball a little bit. Really, really neat, man. An NFL stadium, there's only 32 of them, and not many people get to do that, and they did.
Well, and I double-checked this today just to make sure, but as of this year, there are 5 states who have sanctioned girls flag football. Florida, which I believe was the first. We'll ask Josh about that because he was involved in that in Florida. Nevada, Georgia, Alabama, and Charles Pulliam, who's here with us. I know he's proud of this. Alaska with girls flag football.
When do they play, Charles?
Probably in the summer.
July?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So now there's several of us testing it. But I really believe this, and I'm so proud of who's involved in this. Coach Hester's going to be up here in just a minute. We have 4 current head football coaches in tackle football who are head coaches in the flag football league. We have Donnie Webb, who's a 5th, so there's another head coach, right? And then 4 other guys who are on staff for the tackle football teams. We thought that was important and maybe gave us a little bit more legitimacy to make sure that they're involved. Now, the second part of that, which I think is important too, if you're going to grow girls flag football, you need some women involved too. A couple I'm very proud of and excited about and hope they're here with us tonight. Jessica Mancini, very successful soccer coach there at Ravenwood. Michaela Beebe, you know that name? Yes. The famous I'm not going to give up on the play. Her dad, who played for the Bills and the Packers. She's involved, which I think is exciting. And then hopefully as we go into year 2, and I'm proud to say that we're going to have a second year of this. The Titans have said, we want you to do it a second year, so we're totally pumped about that. Maybe some of this can start being handed off. No pun intended. But I think if we're going to grow this thing, that's got to happen.
Well, and I think it is the plan. I mean, I know that's what Coach Hester and Coach – and not only is Coach Mancini an assistant coach who's probably going to take it over. She's a state championship winning.
She's done okay.
Soccer.
She's done okay.
You know? And Coach Beebe is the head coach of Franklin volleyball. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the way it's going to go, and it's going to be fun to watch them. You know, as they grow as flag football coaches, right? They're learning from some of the best. You know that the Ravenwood Lady Raptors, is that what we're calling them? They're going to be wide open and fast, so it'll be interesting.
Raptor fast? No.
Raptor fast?
Is it?
That wasn't him.
Yeah.
Different tenure.
I certainly knew.
I just want to know if they're going to wear headsets on the side.
Please do. Even if you're not using them, put them on. I think that's great. Hey, something I was going to mention too, Tate, and this is something that I'd mentioned at the press conference back in June, and I don't know the exact number, but at the end of last year, sent out a survey to the students who were coming back, the rising freshmen through seniors, so 4 classes of females, and said, hey, if we had flag football, would you be interested? And not everybody answered that because who checks their email and answers the survey and all that kind of stuff. But from that small sample, which was maybe somewhere between 700-800, we had more yeses than we have on the tackle football rosters. And that's a small sample. So because of that, and because when you're talking cost, I know lacrosse is one we've looked at across the state. to me, this one's even more of a home run because the masses can do it. Like it or not, a sport like lacrosse takes a little bit more money.
A lot more.
Than flag football. So it's going to be tougher for the rural areas, maybe the areas that aren't as fortunate as we are with parent involvement, and they're involved with their money and their time. But flag football is different. At least it has a different feel about it. And I think if you look at those other states, that's certainly been true. I also want to mention the folks from NFL Flag. You fast forward right before fall breaks, like the day before we left for fall break, we were going to do this clinic with NFL Flag. We had Matt and Phoebe and Keenan, excuse me. He wasn't there, but we've talked to him a lot from NFL Flag. Josh was there from the Titans. Weather was horrible. We had to switch at the last minute and move over to Independence, and it was like 100 people showing up for it to do the clinic. What I was really excited about was we had a meeting that day with the coaches, and a lot of them said to me, this has been a lot of fun. It's really exciting. They're really into it. And some of the guys who hadn't coached females before said, and, they listen. It's like, oh, yes.
John Wild has always said that.
They do. Well, they don't have a choice with him. One thing I did want to ask, Tate, because you didn't have to do this, right? I mean, the NFL was actually NFL's a Nike league. Nike said we'll step up and provide whatever we need to provide, and the Titans were fine with this. We said no. I didn't want to do that. We've got a great relationship with you guys and Adidas, and it's not a sanctioned sport, so we could have done it. But I wanted to give you first right of refusal, and you stepped right in and said yes. Why did you say yes?
Well, I just what we were talking about. I think it's very cool what they're doing. I think it's going to explode. Women's sports is one of the big emphases with everybody, right? Not just the pro leagues, but you look at all the shoe companies, and women's sports is exploding. And we talk about it on Sports Connection all the time. The women's programs, they're in the weight room, they're doing off-season conditioning, and they need their workout gear just like the guys do, and I think I've got a daughter. I know she would love to be a part of it. I think it's going to be a fun sport, and I also think it's going to get some young ladies out that maybe aren't doing anything. So anytime, and Coach Corey's going to be up here, he can talk about it, you can talk about it, Coach Qualls. I'm a firm believer that being a part of a team is something that young people need to be a part of, and some of them are not. So if this is another opportunity for somebody who might not be on a team to be a part of a team, build some relationships, who knows, has something going on in their life, and they got a coach that, takes them under their wing because of that. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be all in on that?
Very well said. And, to our audience out there, the truth of the matter is, even if you didn't believe all that you just said, you would have been all in because it's WCS. That's right. And we appreciate that. We certainly do. So thank you to Matthew's team and Adidas for stepping up for us. Tate, before we bring Josh up, you take a look at the head coaches. We've mentioned some of our assistant coaches. You look at some of the athletes who are going to be here tonight. You're seeing some multi-sport athletes who are going to be a part of this. And that was one thing that was tricky. We're playing the games on Sundays because since it's not a sanctioned sport yet, we wanted to make sure that if someone still wanted to play softball or play tennis or run track or whatever they're doing in the spring, that we would try to stay away from that. So we've got the spring Sunday ticket, so to speak, playing. We'll have 3 teams that'll play one another at one location. This week's games at Nolansville, we've got Nolansville-Ravenwood, Ravenwood-Brentwood, and then Nolansville-Brentwood. So they rotate who they play. The home team plays the first and last game. One visiting team plays game 1 and 2, so they don't have to hang around. The other visiting team plays game 2 and 3. Then at Franklin, we've got the Battle of Franklin and Centennial. Obviously, the Battle of the Woods. Maybe. We'll ask Coach Hester. I think he didn't really answer. Page will be there as well, so Franklin, Centennial, Page. And then at Fairview Independence Summit. That's another rivalry, right, that we talk about.
Border battle.
Excited about the border battle. And then Fairview obviously will play Summit, and they'll all play one another, and that's week 1. We do the same thing 4 different weeks. The only week we're taking off is Mother's Day Sunday. We better do that. We end up the season on the 24th, and then we're going to play the tournament May 3rd through actually the 6th. I think it's that Saturday. Josh and I have talked about that. It's going to be a one-day tournament. We'll start at like 10 in the morning and just play right through. 9 plays 8, 8 then the winner of that plays 1, then 2 and 7 and 3. Just all-day football at the Titans facility. Not just the facility, the stadium.
Unbelievable.
Maybe it's a game day situation.
I would hope so. I think it would be that would be another first, and I think it would be well received. And
talk about those coaches and athletes we have.
Well, I think it's awesome. You talked about the head coaches, and then you got Coach Webb coming back out, and he has daughters, so I know it's very special to him. But yeah, I mean, you got Coach Rathbone, who coached all the way into December. He's at the Chattanooga in the state championship, and here he is turning around and coaching the Page team. And then Tay Martin, some of the young people might not remember him. Great player. Loved watching him play. So
who was his quarterback?
Was Mr. Stockstill.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The famous played in the semi with the ACL tear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Byron Leftwich. I know it won an ACL, but he was literally, they were like carrying him down the field to do the next play. But Pat Curran was a great player at Father Ryan. So Coach Hughes of flag football fame, the Mean Machine. I think everybody maybe thinks he kind of has the leg up because of his extensive experience in flag football, but these other guys got something to say about it. I think it's great. And then you start to look at some of the multi-sport athletes on the ladies' side that are going to play. It's going to be fun, man. And I keep hearing from these coaches they like the ladies soccer players. They really like having them on the roster.
So I was going to say, not making any big time predictions, but there's two things I will predict. One, the soccer players, whoever has the most, who play a lot and contribute. I think they're going to have the inside track to win. And I'm also going to say this, not the teams who pass it effectively, but the teams who run it effectively. That's my guess, what I know, but that's what I'm going with. Gabe Evans thinks they're winning it.
Oh, he's been talking. And don't we start off with the Battle of the the Battle of the Wood? I'm going to be interested to see if there's as much intensity in that game as there is in the Battle of the Wood that happens in the fall. I think it's going to be pretty tense.
I think it will be too. And talking about Coach Hughes, and we like to give Coach a hard time. Of course, he's involved. He coaches at Fairview. He's coaching this team. He plays flag football. I think he's feeling pressure. I'm telling you, I've talked to him because it's like if he doesn't win, I know Coach Hester will be the first to give him a hard time. I think in our coaches meeting, Coach Hester referred to him as the Tom Brady of flag football.
Smack talk has already begun.
Hey, Josh Corey, you mind coming up here, Josh, talking to us a little bit? We also have Emily Crowl here from TSSAA. Appreciate Emily being here. She's taking on the flag football part for TSSAA. Josh, if you'll come up, come on in.
I'm going in the middle here.
So, Josh, certainly appreciate you being here tonight. Talk to the audience a little bit about two things. One, your experience in Florida. You were a high school athletic director, and you guys, if I'm not mistaken, were you the first state?
Florida was the first state, yeah.
Talk about that experience and how it got you excited about this.
So when I moved up here, I had this vision of bringing flag football to Tennessee as a state-sanctioned sport because it was just so popular in Florida. We started at our high school with one small team and ended up making a freshman team and a JV team. And, Tate, you alluded to it earlier. This was a sport that grew participation. It didn't rob girls from other sports. Now we made it so where girls didn't have to pick and choose what sports they wanted to play. They should play everything, right? But this was a sport that really, bred a new participation in athletics for us, and it's just phenomenal.
What were and you mentioned some of the positives. If you just had to say, especially starting out, here were the things that maybe we didn't know about that we were really surprised and it was a good thing, and maybe even some of the things that were a little bit of a struggle getting started.
Yeah, I think obviously for us, getting this on board, it was it was getting the word out, which is why, being with you guys has been so great because, marketing everything to the kids at the school level, whether it's our videos, that we've worked on with the IC kids and things like that. But just kind of getting the word out that this was available, and these girls were able to participate. That was kind of the hardest. And then once we got there, I mean, everything else, man, it just went downhill, man. It just flew, downhill quick. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's kind of what you expected. But so when you were talking about how it grew, like about how many numbers that first year, and then but when you left, like where does it? You said a freshman team, a JV team, a varsity team. Like how big can the team be?
We started about 15 girls that first year, and they were the diehards, man. That was a good squad that we had, and then I would say probably that second year we added a JV team, and then added a freshman team, and by the time it was all said and done, we had more than 100 girls participating in this program, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, to see these girls, and you talk about the athletes. We were at the clinic, soccer players. They were getting after it, but I was so impressed with the athleticism of all these girls that attended the clinic, last month. It was incredible. There's going to be some really good games this year, that's for sure.
Josh, talk about this. Now you're in your role with the Titans, and what were those conversations, maybe even before we talked about, hey, let's make this thing happen, regardless if it was in Williamson County, but what were the conversations you guys had about, let's try to get this thing rolling?
Well, there's a lot of players involved. Obviously, the support of the TSSAA is very important because that's one of our largest priorities is to get this on as a state-sanctioned sport. So obviously, they have to be involved in the conversation. They were extremely supportive and receptive, when we came and talked to them, talked to Mark and those guys there. We had to find the right fit for this to take off. And that was real important. We couldn't just go anywhere and try to pilot a program and that kind of thing. For us, it had to be the right fit. And to have the right fit, you've got to have the support from the top down, from the people that are on the fields and in the school buildings to the administration. And, we've had a long-standing partnership with WCS, and have worked on several things with them in the past. And this was just a great fit, we thought, hey, let's go pilot this program. And, I think when you and I talked, it took you maybe 2 seconds to say, yeah, we're all in on this. But, I think you probably said it quicker than that.
Well, and we appreciate it. And there's some pressure with that, right? I mean, I'll admit, we want to do this thing right because, it can't just be about us if it's going to be successful. We've already been talking about what can we do next year, maybe for some other districts. We've talked a little bit about doing a clinic, so to speak, or a conference. We give people an opportunity to maybe come in and talk to us, talk to the coaches, talk to some players about them doing it as well, because it doesn't become a sanctioned sport, Tate Matthews, if it's the only county, we're the only ones doing it. So we're honored to do it. We want to do it. We're humbled that we were asked. But if we want to see this thing grow in a couple of years, got to branch out.
And I think it will. I mean, I know you do too. I mean, it's going to get it here where it's going to be done well, and then other people will notice and they'll jump on. And I can't wait for it because, and again, like you said, it's not a sport that costs a lot of money. It's not like starting if a school starts this program. It's not like starting a lacrosse program where you got to get helmets and shoulder pads. And, I mean, it's something that, yes, we can do it here, but you can also do it in the rural communities. And I think they're going to want to be a part of it, man. Think about all these young ladies who have grown up watching their older brothers play at wherever they go to school, and now they're going to play flag football. I think it's going to be great.
And one of the big things, too, is, this sport is being played at the NAIA level, at the collegiate level. And the National Junior College Athletic Association just adopted it as well, where they're going to pilot it, I believe, in 10 programs across the country this coming up year. So, this is a sport that not only, at the high school level is going to be, extremely popular, we think, But now some of these college programs are starting to come on board, and there's going to be opportunities for these girls to play, post-secondary when they get out of high school.
Josh, as we're wrapping up here, and we'll have Ravenwood High School will be first up. Appreciate you guys joining us for our first Girls Flag Football Media Day from MAFIAoZA. Still time to get down here. We're here in Franklin, Tennessee. Come on out. If you're going to hang with us on the live stream, that's fine too, but we'd love to have you down here. Plenty of time to get here. Talk about how, because people think, okay, it's football, but now you've got girls playing football. Not that a girl can't play tackle football, because that happens too, but talk about how that's going to positively impact, even at your level, girls flag football leagues popping up everywhere.
Yeah, and it's going to happen everywhere, and maybe this is something that opens people's eyes to, maybe there's opportunities to work in the front office of a sports organization. We have a scouting assistant who's a female with the Titans right now, so there's a ton of opportunities, different pathways through the vehicle of football, but lots of different ways to get more females involved and encourage them to be a part of our sport and keep growing and developing our sport.
And let's talk about this. I mean, I think this is a reality too. If you don't want to answer this is fine. When you're talking about some of the physical issues some people have had in their careers from playing football, and you think about maybe moms saying, I'm not sure about this sport of football. Well, these young ladies are future moms, right? Maybe that impacts that. Maybe that helps grow the sport. And you realize, okay, those things that we hear about, they're kind of outliers, right? That's not the norm. Those things happen. But it's going to increase the popularity in that way too, correct?
Yeah, all the way around. I mean, it really is. It's going to help in every single facet of it. We're firm believers that there's never been a safer time to play football. Great. With all the equipment, the new rule changes and things, the focus on player safety. So absolutely, this is going to help all the way around. Even with as these young ladies someday have their own kids and are faced with that decision, going to let my kid play football. Flag is a great starting point, going into, the sport of football. Maybe you play tackle, maybe you don't, maybe you stick with flag, but the opportunities for everybody has just been outstanding.
And the love of the game,
sure.
Football, right?
Yeah.
Tate, final thoughts before we get to Coach Hester and Ravenwood.
Hey, appreciate Coach Corey being here, and excited to hear what they have to say. We've seen Coach Hester and some of the other guys at Media Day on the other side. I'm excited to see him here. I know he will bring the juice, but I'm excited, and thank you for what you've done, and thank you. And I shout out to you. You don't like it, but I'm gonna say it. Another place where else can you start this, and then you talk to these head coaches. Not talk. They wanted to do it, but getting them to start it off year one. I don't think that happens a whole lot of places.
Well, hey, listen, they're doing the hard work, and the young ladies there at their individual schools. Again, want to thank Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet, Tate Matthews, Matthews Team Sports, and Adidas, the Titans, TSSAA, NFL Flag, Lance West, WCTV, who's making this live stream happen, John Long, Angie Smith from MAFIAoZA and their crew doing a great job tonight, and, of course, our Outside the Lines group that we talk about all the time, too. We'll be right back here in a couple minutes. We'll start off with Ravenwood High School. Again, the first annual WCS Girls Flag Football Media Day. All right, we've got first up here, and what we'll do is we'll have 15-minute segments here for each team. We've got coaches and players here. We're going to start off with Ravenwood High School. Coach Hester, who's the head coach, Jessica Mancini, assistant coach here for Ravenwood. I'll turn it over to Coach Hester if you'll give an opening statement, and then what we'll do with our media members, once you talk about who's here with you, maybe what your expectations are, what you've run into so far with this new sport, we'll hand it over to the media, let them answer or ask you some questions. So Ravenwood High School, Coach Hester, you got it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. A little different sitting up here with some non-smelly guys like I'm usually sitting up here with. So it's good to be up here with this group of young ladies. The best thing about this for me is getting an opportunity to coach girls. I've never really coached girls before, and They're super athletic and love the opportunity to get out here and play football. And, so I'm excited to see where the season takes us. But with me, number 5 here is Macy Fowler. Macy, who's a member of our tackle football team as well. So football is no stranger to Macy. Macy's played a lot of football in her career, and beside her is Kennedy Riggs. Kennedy's a volleyball player first and now converted into a flag football player, and to her left there is the state championship soccer coach, Jessica Mancini. She's the real coach on this panel. So, but we're excited, and what kind of questions do you have for us?
If you guys would, your name, publication you represent before you start your question.
Coach Joe Spears with the Tennessean. How neat has this whole experience been getting, obviously, like you said, you're used to coaching the guys, the smelly guys. Now you're up here with girls. I mean, just how neat has this experience been so far?
Oh, I mean, it's been awesome. First off, like I think Darren mentioned earlier, their athleticism is what's been the most shocking thing to me is, they can do everything that the guys can do, and sometimes they can do it better. And the thing I enjoy most about it is a lot of them didn't come into it with a preconceived notion about what football should look like or feel like. And, these aren't, girls playing flag football. These girls are playing football. And a lot of them can run and jump and throw and quite frankly, tackle just as good as the men can. So there really hasn't been a difference from coaching it. The rules are different and how we have to play is different. But these are football players.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Ladies, this is for y'all. What was your initial reaction when this was announced and you decided you wanted to play?
Well, I was really excited because being used to, in the guy environment with football, you get a lot of girls coming up to you and being like, oh, what's it like being around the guys and their football environment? And I never really knew how to respond to that where they could completely understand. But now they can kind of get that feeling with flag football. So it was exciting to have that connection there.
I was super excited getting to play something different than volleyball and having a different outlook on the skills and aspects and teamwork. Just getting to play with different girls too. We have a bunch of girls from each sport all coming together, which is super cool because I've been playing with the same girls obviously for the same sport. And getting to do something that you never thought would have been possible is pretty cool.
Scott Burton, 615 Preps. Now, Macy, you played on the boys team, correct? Did they look to you to do the recruiting for the team?
A little bit. I kind of did my own research, but I kind of let them just fall in or come what they wanted. I don't want to pressure anybody, so.
Well, I guess we'll keep on going here. In terms of on the coaches' side, for both of you coaches here, thinking about how we have some fresh faces coming in and maybe trying a sport for the first time, what's it like having the mix of the competitors that we've seen for so long? I mean, Kennedy just played for a volleyball championship early. Macy's been everywhere in terms of a multi-sport athlete. So having to gel everyone together, how's that been?
Yeah, it's been fun for me to see because a lot of my soccer girls are playing as well, and they're friends with Kennedy. So like Kennedy said, volleyball girls are getting to play with the soccer girls. They're getting to play with girls that played rugby. We have a championship wrestler on the team as well. So we've got a bunch of different girls from different backgrounds, different sports working together. We also have a bunch of girls that haven't played sports before. So it's been really cool for me as a coach to see the athletes, the seniors and juniors that have been playing sports their entire high school career, step up and teach girls a brand new sport that they don't even know a lot about, but teaching them the side of athletics, talking gamemanship and game IQ, and just teaching them small things here and there because they may have never. I think there are some girls that just haven't played sports before and they like the idea of flag football and it sounded new and fun to them and they wanted to be a part of the first program, so they stepped up. And these girls that have been playing for years again have really stepped up to help coach them along with us as well.
I mean, absolutely. I think that, seeing that mixture, especially of the girls who have played athletics and who haven't, and seeing them kind of come out of their shell, and some of them who may have been timid at first are now, getting sure of themselves in an athletic, standpoint and kind of, blossoming as a young lady. I think it's been super cool to watch.
First question for Coach Hester. Coach Hester, do you feel like you're living the dream with your hometown now being able to coach 2 football teams?
I mean, I couldn't do it before, so I guess I am. I mean, I don't know that I ever had that dream, to be honest. Coaching 1 football team is pretty tough. Coaching 2 is twice as tough, but the girls have made it easy. We've been practicing late in the evenings. We actually have practice tonight after we leave here, and a lot of them are going from track practice or softball practice or rugby practice or lacrosse practice or club soccer practice, and then coming and practicing with us at the night. So they're putting in a lot of time and effort into this, and I'm excited to see that their hard work, pay off on Sundays.
And next question for Macy and Kennedy. What does it mean for the 2 of you being a part of the first season of flag football?
I think it's really cool. It builds a foundation for the younger grades. Maybe it'll inspire them to do it next year, and hopefully a lot of the students will come out and watch and see how cool of a sport it is and get more involved that way.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really cool. We're the first to do something. That's history being made right there. So if this continues, if you look back, there we are, the first. So I think that's cool.
Thinking about the learning of this, girls, explain what it's like kind of getting just the flow, learning some of the rules, what that process has been like in terms of just trying something new.
It's confusing sometimes, but we'll get the hang of it eventually. I think we've definitely improved a lot over the last couple weeks in our practices. I've seen a lot of improvement. I bet everybody else has too, in many things with throwing, catching, kind of trying to read different things. And I think we're only going to go up from here, so it's been good.
We've improved so much since the first practice. The first practice, we basically just went over rules, like what flag football even was, threw the ball a little bit, and now we're running plays, getting touchdowns, and it's super cool. It's hard for Macy not to tackle people. She's tackled me a few times. But yeah, we've improved a lot in the first couple of weeks.
This is for Coach Mancini. When you first heard about this, what was your reaction to girls flag football?
I was super excited, and if I'm being honest, I'm jealous. I would have loved this opportunity in high school. I would have loved to be able to play flag football. I would have liked to play a lot of sports that are around now, lacrosse, all these different things that are showing up in this county that I didn't have growing up. So I jumped at the opportunity when Coach Hester reached out to me asking if I wanted to help. I don't know. I know the basics of football, so I'm new to this and I'm learning as well, and it's fun for me to learn with the girls and us to grow together and learn, and it's fun for me to watch them learn, and I get to see a little bit of different tactics, a little bit different athleticism, and still grow as a coach with a different sport, still learning to teach younger players different things. And so for me, it's fun to watch them grow. It's also fun for me to learn. I was super excited.
This one's for one or both of you coaches. Who really picked up right away and just stood out to you as a player? Yeah, that one's got to be on the field at all times.
I think there's a couple of girls. Kennedy being one. Volleyball, she's got good hands. She moves well. She understands gamemanship. Some of my soccer girls on the side as well. Some of her friends, Sarah Kate, Allie Brown, those girls as well coming in. Macy knows the game of football, so obviously she's a key player, especially on defense. She can read the game really well. We have a girl with lightning speed that hopefully nobody can catch later on. So not giving away her name, they'll have to figure that out. But so just those girls that are competitive, they're athletes, they're ready to go. From day one, they were ready to learn, and they want to win, just like we do. So hopefully they'll show up and play well for us.
Final question here for Ravenwood, and then Centennial High School will be next.
All right, this is for Kennedy, Macy, Coach Hester, and Coach Mancini. Just basically asking your first impressions of the schedule. Do you feel like it's a good thing that you're starting with Battle of the Woods, or not necessarily?
I mean, we're not actually starting with the Battle of the Woods. It's the second game of that day. We start with Nolansville. But, I mean, you know, in the end, I mean, I think the regular season is going to be a learning situation for all of us. I think, you know, you're going to want to be playing your best football come the tournament at the end. You know, everybody's going to get an opportunity to play each other, kind of a round-robin situation, you know, going into that. And I dare say, you know, all the teams will be different by the end. So, you know, it'll be exciting, and it's exciting for these girls to get to, you know, they've played in those big games in their other sports, and now to do it in this environment, and is a, you know, it's fairly new game for everybody, right? You know, I know there's some of the teams that's had some girls that have played some flag before, but you know, they're all getting a chance to do it, and you know, there's been a lot of talk in the school about it, so it's going to be exciting to see how the student body turns out to support them. You know, all these girls are obviously, you know, popular amongst the students, so they're going to encourage them to come out.
I think my favorite part about not necessarily starting with Nolansville and Brentwood, that's always fun no matter what. My favorite part is we're really going in blind. We have no clue what they have. They have no clue what we have. We know the athletes that are playing for them. They know the athletes that are playing for us. But really, it's wide open. Anything could happen. One team could show up and play better than the other. So I'm actually a fan of the fact that we go in having no clue what it's going to look like, and the girls don't either. They're showing up to have fun. They're showing up to learn. So I'm going to enjoy seeing how it evolves and what the girls do this weekend.
I think it's exciting because, I mean, they're two of our biggest competitors, so hopefully we get a lot of people out there to watch and hopefully help grow the sport more. So that's that, I guess.
I'm always excited to play Brentwood. I mean, it brings out the competitiveness in us just so much more just because we want to win so badly. And we got to keep our streak of beating them in, like, every sport this year. So.
You said it, not me.
Thank you. Great job, Ravenwood High School. We've got Centennial up next. Coach Kreisky, you guys are next. As they're coming up, just a reminder, we'll have Brentwood at 6, Independence, Nolansville, Page, Summit, Franklin, and we'll finish with Fairview High School. Again, we're live here from MAFIAoZA's in Franklin. Still time to get down here if you would like. Our first Girls Flag Football Media Day. Appreciate the members of the media being here. Appreciate Lance West at WCTV. All right, we've got Centennial High School again. A head coach on the tackle football team is leading this program. We'll start off with Coach Kreisky. He'll introduce who's with him, make an opening statement, then we'll open up questions. Again, Matt Kreisky, Centennial High School.
Thank y'all. I appreciate everything. First, right here, I got here to my left, Kaya Cooper, Tyra Petway, and Coach Jonathan Parks. Been helping us out so far, getting things going for the first annual flag football season here in Williamson County. So if you have any questions, we're ready to go.
All right. I guess this would be for everyone up here. What does it mean to you to be a part of the first flag football season?
It's very exciting. I don't really know much of what to expect, but I hope we go far.
I would probably say the same. You know, it's exciting, especially being like the first group to kind of, you know, come out and start this for future generations and future teams to form and come play. So far, it's been pretty fun. You know, we actually haven't played yet, but yeah, like she said, hoping to go far.
When I first heard about this, I was super excited because
I have two young daughters at home, and I'm always trying to teach them football at home, teaching them how to say touchdown. And they come every Friday night, and just to be a part of the first, league to get this going in high school in the state of Tennessee is pretty special. So to be able to see all the different girls, whether they're athletes or not athletes, get interested in this is super special. And around Centennial, if you've never been to a Powder Puff game during homecoming week, it is so exciting, and everybody gets excited, and I hope we have the same excitement with our student body when we get started with this on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm echo. I mean, it's been fun. Very optimistic when you get started. Didn't know what to expect. It's kind of different. You knew what you're doing. When we and Coach Parks, when we had practice for football with the guys, but coming in with these girls, we didn't really know what to expect. One thing I say is our girls have been really eager to learn. They find us during school, ask us questions. So just being part of the first in Tennessee girls flag football has been really neat, and also seeing these girls their interest, and from the first practice and from yesterday, seeing how many girls come in and wanting to practice, and them wanting to even practice more. It's been fun. So we're excited about Sunday, and we cannot wait to get started.
And second question, this is also for everyone up there. Do you feel like it's an advantage or disadvantage starting with Battle of Franklin?
That's a tricky question, but I mean, I guess it goes with both teams. I'd say it's an advantage.
Yeah, I think it would be an advantage. Rival game, rival team. Kick it off pretty good.
I would say it's definitely an advantage for both schools, just because football, basketball, soccer, baseball, every time we play Franklin, it's a big crowd and everybody gets super excited about it. So I feel like unfortunately, we're going to Franklin. I think our student body will show up, and I think we're going to definitely have a great atmosphere there on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's been neat to see our student section leaders. They've been asking about the games and what to expect. So I think it'll be neat to start off with the Battle of Franklin. And also, he may not say it when he's up here, but Coach Webb has been sending me text messages, kind of already taught me getting ready for the Battle of Franklin. So he was drawing up some formations and kind of things to expect on Sunday. So he's kind of already been kind of talking that little trash to us already. So we're excited and get ready to go.
Coach Kreisky, Charles with the Herald here. Just want to know a little bit about just how fun is this to, first off be coaching an all-female football setup here after so many years of hanging out with the guys here. We were just talking to Coach Hester about how he's always around sweaty dudes, and now you get to be around the ladies instead too. What's this been like, and how fun has it been?
I'll be honest. No offense to these girls, but when we first got going, Coach Parks would tell you I was, oh man, I'm dreading this. I don't know what to expect. But I promise you, every practice that we've had, these girls can tell you that I get going and get the energy and the juices flowing, just like it's we're practicing with the guys, because we feed off their energy, and it's been really neat to see them. And the questions that these young ladies have asked during practice, like I remember, it's like has blown me away. And even some of them say, "Hey, Coach, I've studied this. What do you think about this?" And just their eagerness to learn this game and trying to figure out and to get better each and every practice has been neat, and it's really exciting. I really hope this continues to grow, and I hope it grows outside of Williamson County for other young ladies in high school. And now we even have some of these girls. I know we've had a college program in Kentucky reach out to us, and we've talked to some of our ladies about it. So I think this is something that's going to grow, and I can't wait to see the future of this.
Interesting.
Hi, Scott Burton with 615 Preps. This is for the coaches. Was it a challenge to look at a playbook or pare down your playbook and try to find how you wanted to approach your game plans? And secondly, have you learned anything maybe that you can apply on the other side yet?
I'll be honest, all of it's a learning experience. Yeah, we try to do some of the things that we do with the guys, but these girls really want to learn and get better. And the coverages, the offense, the things that we've installed, pretty much kind of some of the things we do on 7-on-7 in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And these girls have picked it up. That's one of the things that I have been really surprised and impressed with, is how quick these girls have picked up the things that we're doing offensively and defensively. And the girls, we kind of let them all. We didn't tell them a position to go when we first started. We kind of just, and you see them say, you can tell that they know, hey, this is the position I fit in, and they go to that spot. So that's been neat, and just. I'll be honest, they've been fun to coach, and they listen a lot better than the guys, which has been fun. So.
Yeah. Now this one's for the ladies. Were you big football fans before this enterprise started?
I wouldn't watch too much football. I would be at the Centennial games and some of the other school games. I did watch a couple college football games. But that was really it. I did always want to play football. When I was a lot younger, I would always be outside with my brother throwing the football, or when I would be at school, we would be outside. I would be with the boys playing football. So yeah, I've kind of always wanted to play football, and this is my chance. So.
I always loved going to the Friday Night Lights. That was probably the best part. But besides that, I've never been one to watch football that much, unless my dad's got it on downstairs or something. But the thought of playing is really exciting. So.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Coach Kreisky, this is for you. With the rest of the teams, basically, you know athletes in those teams, but you don't know what they're going to do. Is it kind of maddening to have to prepare for basically a clean slate?
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, it's kind of no different what we went through a couple years ago, kind of going into this season blind when everything with COVID was going on. So we told the girls in practice that we're going to adjust on the fly, and we're going to figure it out through the first game, and hopefully that we'll see improvement from the first game from 2 o'clock to our second game when we play Page at 3 o'clock, make the adjustments needed, and to see how it goes, because it's all new to us, and we're figuring out what we need to do, and I think, offensively and defensively, we're figuring out what of our strengths and what of our weaknesses. So it's been neat. I know Tyra said she wasn't much of a football fan or didn't watch much, but she's pretty physical, and so we got to tell her to calm down in practice. So I don't know if I believe that she didn't play or participate in some type of backyard football growing up.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and just for coaches, rules-wise, just how different is this from what you're used to in the fall?
Well, I've studied a lot of rules. We've kind of broken it down piece by piece as we've moved along. Some days we'll work short yardage, inside where you're not allowed to run the football, and then some days we'll just manage the game. Hey, you may not want to get a first down right here. You may want to stop. All right, that'll give us an opportunity to take a couple shots and then get an easy first down if we need to. But it's an adjustment. I mean, at the end of the day, football's football. You add a couple of things there that, with our PE programs and stuff, especially in the state of Tennessee and NFL, most schools have the NFL football with the flags and all that stuff. So we had an idea. We just didn't know the in-depth part of it, and then when we all met as coaches, we kind of set some boundaries on what flag football was going to look like for Williamson County to get this pilot started. So it's been some adjusting, but for the most part, the rules are pretty simple. I believe the girls understand it, and we'll just make sure that the coaches and the officials are on the same page as well.
Any final questions for Centennial? Anyone? Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all coming out. These girls have really enjoyed it, and we're all excited. Appreciate you, Darren, for getting this going and getting it started for us.
All right, next up, we'll have Brentwood High School. If you guys will make your way to the stage. Again, first annual Girls Flag Football Media Day here live from MAFIAoZA's. Appreciate Lance, West, WCTV for allowing this stream to happen. Also, again, want to thank Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet for all they do for Williamson County Athletics. Tate Matthews, Adidas, for what they do. Everybody's outfitted, looks great. The Titans, TSSAA, NFL flag, certainly their involvement. John Long, Angie Smith and their crew here at MAFIAoZA's, and of course our outside the line students for making this happen, and our members of the media. Hey, I would remind the media members too, and obviously we know you, but we want to make sure that when the questions come, we know who they're coming from since they can't see you on camera. So when you ask your questions, again, if you'll just identify who you are. Next up, Brentwood High School. We've got Gabe Evans, head coach, part of that tackle football staff as well. Coach, if you would introduce who's with you, give us an opening statement about your team. And early on, Coach, when you weren't here, I said that Brentwood High School thinks they may be the leader in the pack in terms of being the favorite. So I'm putting a little pressure on you. Coach Evans, Brentwood High School.
All right, first off, thank you all for being here and with the Titans and everyone that's a part of what we're doing. I know we're super excited at Brentwood. We had our first meeting. We had 96 girls show up, and we actually cut it down to 55 now. So we got a lot of people that are showing up in interest even within our building. With me, to my immediate left, I've got Kendall Overgaard as a senior, and then beside her I have Brooke Brummett, who is a junior, who actually had the pleasure of coaching her brother in guys football a couple years ago too. So kind of a family thing that we got going on here. But we'll open it up for questions, and happy that you all are here.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and Coach, like you said, you had a ton of girls come out, cut the roster down. I still think you guys had the largest roster. I mean, what's that say about what these girls think of this whole program?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we didn't actually make a physical cut. It just kind of naturally, some girls decided that they couldn't do it because of their schedule. But first off, I think it's just a lot of people are interested in this. There's a lot of interest just in our student body, even about coming to support. We have a student section that's talking about coming out for that first game against Ravenwood and Nolansville and kind of seeing what that looks like. But really, it's just the girls have done a great job of selling it and getting everyone involved to come out and see if they like practice. And then our spring sport coaches are doing a tremendous job of working with us. We're very limited on our space at Brentwood. We all share one field. But they're doing a great job of working around and letting us, practice where we can and let us share athletes. So, I think everyone's kind of all hands on deck and excited about this.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. This is for all three of y'all. Is it easier to get amped up for this weekend knowing that Ravenwood's right around the corner?
Yes, sir. I personally am very excited for this game. Everyone knows that Ravenwood is our rival, so I'm looking forward to it.
I think playing our rival the first game will bring out a lot of energy. We're all so ready. Like, whoever we were going to play, we're going to be ready, but I think this is just a different type of hype that we're going to bring out, and it's going to be really good for us.
Yeah, echoing what they both said, the Ravenwood and Brentwood rivalry is so interesting because our kids grow up going to the same churches, playing Little League with each other, and then they split when they get to middle school and sometimes just when they get to high school. So they know each other. It's not like they're playing someone that they don't know, which they may not at another Williamson County high school. So they're super excited about this opportunity. I think they're starting to realize that our first game is against Ravenwood. I've had more questions this week, and they've been pulling up things on YouTube from the other states that already have this, like Georgia and Nevada, and watching those games on YouTube and asking questions. So I think it's starting to hit them a little bit, but we're excited that that's our first opportunity.
Scott Burton, 615 Preps. This is for all three of you. How has been the reaction from the boys football team? Have they been supportive? Have they been overly trying to coach?
Yeah, I guess from my side, I've had a lot of them ask if they could come out and help, and we've had to kind of tell them, hey, this is their time. Like y'all had your time in the fall. Right. Some of them have said they're going to come out and be on the sideline as cheerleaders, so we've had to make sure they just take the student section and do that. But they're really excited. I think they want to see how this goes, and like I said, they're talking about, how many of our students are supposed to show up and watch the game. So I think they're excited about it.
Yeah, I think they're very excited. A bunch of them come up to me telling them how supportive they are and how they're ready to watch us play Ravenwood especially. And a bunch of them are on the track team too, and they're running around doing their laps like throw a touchdown, like score, just very supportive of all of us.
I think they're excited to be on the sidelines because they're so used to being on the field and playing with us on the sidelines. So I think they're really ready to come out and support us. And I'll see them through the halls. They're like, are you all ready? Stuff like that. So I think they're really happy to come out and support us.
And this is also for you ladies. Were you big football watchers or growing up?
Yes, sir. My mom's a football geek, and my brother, like Coach Evans said, has played football his whole life. So I've grown up around it, and I've always wanted to play football, and I'm very pumped for it.
It's always on in my house. I always have to fight my dad for the remote. I mean, I love watching it, but sometimes it gets a little old. But we do have to definitely fight for the remote sometimes. But I do like watching it with him. My mom, our whole family watches it, so yes.
Coach, has there been a player that you've had to rein in a little bit to not want to just go out and tackle somebody?
Several. So I'm pretty lucky. We've got tremendous support from our soccer team. So I've got 3 girls that are going D1 soccer that are playing. I've got a couple of track girls that are the same. One particular girl that we're a little worried about with how hard she's going to go from the first play of the game. So we're trying to rein her in a little bit and make sure it's all right. But they're all good and understand the rules and they're prepared for it.
Hey, Charles with Williamson Herald here. For the girls, want to know a little bit about, just what kind of advice you might have for other girls, because we are guaranteed this to do this next year as well. What would you say to girls that might be a little on the fence about trying this sport, and what's it been like so far to start?
Well, I just say go out and try it. A bunch of girls never even touched a football, came out and tried it, and are actually very good at it, and they love it and they enjoy it and love being on a team. So I just say, why not give it a shot and go out and try your best?
I would definitely say the same thing. Come out, try it. And I think what's really cool about this is that our team comes from such a diverse sports background. We have golfers, soccer players, basketball players, just a wide variety. So I think it's really cool for the first time all coming together to play a new sport that hasn't been at our school. But definitely try it. I loved it so far. And I've met so many different girls from different grades because it's freshmen through seniors. So I've met a lot of really nice friends and stuff. So I definitely recommend it.
All right, the first question is for all 3 of you. Do you feel like it's an advantage or disadvantage that you start with the 2 teams that are nearest to you in Ravenwood and Nolansville?
I think kind of both. I mean, it's going to be very fun, but I feel like the first game could be a little sloppy, just not knowing what it's going to look like yet. But I think it is definitely going to bring a lot of energy to the game on Sunday, and I think we're all ready for it, and I think it'll be very fun.
I would also say both. I think as a team, we're gonna learn a lot from it and learn how we play, learn our little advantages and disadvantages and stuff. And from that game, we're gonna be able to build and improve. But I think it's also an advantage because, like I said earlier, the energy that's gonna come out is just gonna be so strong, and it's gonna be really fun to be there.
Yeah, echoing what they said. I mean, I think it's, we had a meeting today and we talked about, we play at 3, which is our first game against Ravenwood, and Ravenwood plays Nolansville at 2. So our whole team's ready to get there at 2 to kind of watch that game and get a little heads up. And we're glad they're the experiment for a little bit, and then we get the benefit of watching that. But I think getting the hype of our support system in the school, with it being Ravenwood and Nolansville and that community, those communities that we share, it helps it, and it helps everybody get there. So it's a good thing, and it's exciting.
And another question for all 3 of you. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
Yeah, well, I'll speak for myself. One of the reasons, and I told them this when we kind of had our first meeting, is very similar to what Coach Park said a minute ago, is, I've got a 5-year-old daughter who comes to all my football games and is always wanting to ask questions that, what's going on, and so she's now to the age that she can see that. And I've never coached a female sport, and I wanted her to see her dad do that. So I'm really excited to get to do that. And then the fact that it is the first one in Williamson County, it's the first one in Tennessee. I think just adds a little sweetness to it. And it's been fun to learn how this goes and kind of watch these other states that are picking up. And I think, like Coach Kreisky said, I've had 2 or 3 colleges that have reached out already they're excited because they don't have it in their state. So they're trying to come here and get some of our girls that may be interested. So there's a lot of new opportunities and excitement that are around this.
I'm very excited, and just for the younger girls to come out and watch and support and look what we're doing, and knowing that in a few years they'll be able to do it is really awesome, and I'm happy to do it.
I heard about it from the other states, and I was a little jealous of them, and I wanted it to come to Tennessee. So I'm really happy it's here. And I've always played the same 2 sports my whole entire life. So I think it's really fun to like take a step out there and try something else, because I've always been on the sidelines watching and supporting our boys. And so just being able to be on the field and play, I'm really excited about that.
In trying, Charles with the Williamson Herald again, in trying something new, I guess, I'm curious to know what's something that's kind of stood out, whether positive or negative to you, in trying a new sport like this?
Well, personally, I've played church league flag football for my church for the past 3 years, so I kind of know what it's like, but also being able to learn the new rules, totally different than boys flag or boys football. So just learning the rules and the positions of it, and help teaching the other girls that have never even been around a football is pretty awesome.
I've always played a sport that involves the feet, so I've been playing soccer, so it's definitely different to start using my hands and stuff. But like Brooke said, it's really nice being able to like help people, but from my perspective, I've looked up to her because she's played her church league and I haven't played football before. So yeah, looking up to people really helps too.
And Brooke is back-to-back church league champs, just making that clear, so we're coming for you.
Coach Evans, final thoughts here before we have independents come up?
Yeah, I mean, again, like we started, just want to thank everybody for all the support, and especially what Williamson County is doing to support this, what the Titans are doing, what Coach Corey's doing to support this. But the media coverage, I think, is what is blowing our girls away. I mean, we know that Williamson County does things right, especially in the sports world. But to have you all here and to already see some of the things that are on Twitter and the news articles that are being published, they're coming in and like, oh my gosh, did you know, like, they're writing an article about this. So, thank you all for doing that, and we hope that you get to cover all the games and kind of walk through this journey with us, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Great job, ladies. Good job, Coach. Thank you, Brentwood High School. Independence will be next. Thank you. Coach Andre Flowers. Sorry about that. Coach will be next, then we'll have Nolansville, Page, Summit, Franklin, and Fairview. Come on up. Coach, if you would, starting off here, introduce who's with you, give an opening statement about your thoughts so far about flag football, and then we'll take questions from the media. Again, Coach Flowers, Independence High School.
With me, I have senior Allie Kimball and senior Madeline Marcus. I think it's a very unique thing to be a part of the inaugural girls flag football in the state of Tennessee. It's definitely different coaching girls. It comes with its challenges, but it's also very good and unique to coach girls because it gives you a different perspective on coaching. I think there's a lot of excitement around this. I know that when we first handed out the schedule, the first thing kids wanted to know was when do we play Summit. So it's definitely going to be a fun year, and I can't wait to get started.
Charlie Bateman, homepage. This is for Coach Flowers and the players up there. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in the state of Tennessee?
Well, I have daughters, and the first thing that came up was just thinking about having an impact and being able to coach girls and knowing that my daughters will be able to see me coach females. So I think just having girls flag football in this state is real huge. I'm glad that we are the pilot school district for that, and we can set the expectations.
nice to get with everyone and join a new sport. I play 2 other sports, and just getting people from different sports and just bringing it together has been honestly really a blessing.
I'm really excited for it because I played football in middle school, so it's really good to be able to play again, even if it's a little different. And I'm really proud that Williamson County is starting it because it means that we can put it forward for the rest of the state, and other little girls can grow up and start playing flag football just like us.
And other question, Coach, you talked about your team was asking when do we play Summit. Do you feel, along with your players up there, do you feel like it's an advantage or disadvantage that you start with a rival right out of the gate?
We actually have Summit the second game on Sunday. We'll start off with Fairview at 2 o'clock, and we'll play Summit at 3. I think it's an advantage. I think it'll bring a lot of student body out. I know Indy Nation has expressed their feelings about playing Summit at 3 o'clock, so I hope to see a big crowd from our student section. I do think it's an advantage. I think it'll be a lot of energy.
I think it's an advantage for sure, just because Summit is our rival. All the girls are super pumped up. We all just have that tense urge to beat them in any sport we do. And for sure, our student section, they're crazy. They all support us a lot, and we know they'll be there and showing out and just bring a lot of energy.
Yeah, the same for me. I mean, Summit's our rival, so I really want to see how it goes, and hopefully we beat them, of course.
Charles William with the Williamson Herald. Girls, I'd like to know a little bit about the feeling and the process and what this and how attractive it was when this announcement first came that we were going to have girls flag football. What kind of drew you into it, and why do you want to do this?
When I first heard about it, I was honestly kind of shocked. I was like, I didn't know, I didn't see it coming from anywhere. But as soon as I heard about it, I was like, yes, I want to play. I just finished basketball, and I was like, okay, this gives me another opportunity to play another sport in high school. High school sports have been super fun for me, and it's just a blessing to play with everyone. And I think the chemistry between the girls has been great, and it's just super fun to look forward to.
I was also really surprised by it because you don't see a lot of flag football teams around here at all, even rec. So when it came about, I was like, this is a great opportunity to take. And again, I played in middle school, so it's not the same as tackle, of course, but it's nice to be a part of a team and be able to play some.
Coach Flowers, you've had a lot of multi-sport athletes come out to do this often, but at the same time you have a mix of new faces trying this for the first time. How are you meshing that while you're all learning this new sport really for the first time too?
I'm kind of leaning on the student athletes that actually play another sport, just kind of teaching girls how to practice, just introducing the sport itself. It has been very exciting for me to be able to teach very simplistic things about the game of football, how to line up, how to catch, how to throw. So I definitely lean on athletes that play other sports because they know how to practice and how to set the expectation with other football players that don't play other sports.
Coach Scott Burton with 615 Preps. You talked a little bit about all the different sports and all the different girls. Has this brought students in your school together a little bit in different walks that may not have interacted otherwise?
I think it does. It's built a unique camaraderie amongst girls who normally wouldn't get with each other. So I think it has. I know that just watching interactions at practice, you see certain girls starting to hang out more in the school building, building a bond and a friendship. So I think it's great for the school building to see other athletes kind of interact with other sports.
And this is for the ladies. That first meeting, what was it like? I assume walk into a room, and just tell me what your emotions were like when you walked in.
I was excited. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect because it was something new. I know football, but I don't know football. So learning new things, I was just kind of had my ears open because I didn't know what to expect, and I was just really excited, and I think everyone else was really excited. So getting to learn all the new things and do it together, that was just important.
I was actually really like happy about it. And I didn't know very many people there at first, but by the second time we met, we were all like close friends and already had this teamwork going that we hadn't before. And I also knew the coach going into it at one point, and a lot of the drills are similar to regular football, so I just kind of felt really prepared for it.
Coach Chris Brooks with 615 Preps. We've heard it from everybody so far that they've had at least one person on the team that they've had to kind of rein in a little bit, not want to go tackle somebody. Have you had one like that so far?
We've had several girls. I'm trying to minimize their physicality a little bit, but we have. I think when the girls first heard flag football, they wanted to be physical with each other. So just having to teach them, hey, it's flags, let's pull. We can't really put our hands on each other, which is actually goes against what I usually coach. So having to teach someone not to be physical is a challenge within itself. But I think the girls are very competitive, so I think that's one of our advantages.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and for the players, we all see in the fall how Independence reacts to boys football. I mean, great crowds and all that. What's the mood been inside the school for this program starting up from your schoolmates?
Everyone's been super excited. I mean, the boys, they've been engaged. They've been talking to me in the hallways, been like, are you ready? Like, what sort of stuff are you looking forward to? In our student section, that's like the most fun part, I think, of football games. So I know that from when I see they're going to be there excited and ready to go.
Yeah, I've had a lot of different groups of sports that have come together and they're like, oh my goodness, there's flag football, and they can't wait to come out and support us. So it's been really nice, and we can't wait to see a huge crowd there.
Thinking of the balance of doing multiple sports and things like that, how has that kind of impacted you in terms of a little later practice, everybody's sharing the field, you're giving up your Sundays now to play too. What's that kind of been like for you two?
For me, it's been a little bit hard just because Sunday's usually my day off to rest from playing other sports, but it's my senior season. I think at the end of the day, it's something I wanted to do, and that rest can be saved for a different time. So I've just adjusted to it and found other times to do other stuff because it's fun, and it's another sport that I just get to finish out my season with.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely been a little difficult trying to fit everything into my schedule because track meets are any day of the week, so you just got to make sure that even if I'm not practicing, I'm still running plays with teammates outside of it. So I feel prepared for it, and I can't wait to do it along with everything else because it is senior year, so I'm trying to do as much as I can before I go.
Nolansville will be up next, but before we get to Nolansville, I do want to introduce Emily Crowl from TSSAA. Not only is Emily, she's sort of the representative, so to speak, for TSSAA when it comes to girls flag football, and I learned from Emily. She played a little flag football herself in high school, so I know you're really excited about this.
I am. One of the coaches said jealousy, and I kind of felt that a little bit because this would have been a dream for me in high school. I think I lobbied to our school administration many times to start a flag football team, and we finally settled on powder puff. So, we got to that point, but this is definitely a dream to have a league.
Talk about, and we talked to Josh Corey earlier, we talked about the excitement that the Titans had for this to happen, right? For us to have the pilot program. But obviously, long term, got to branch out into some other areas. But talk about, maybe from the standpoint of TSSAA, what your thoughts have been about it, your excitement about it, and how it really all came to be.
Yeah, we're excited, to get it off the ground, and for us, we're looking at participation and for it to grow. And I think, I've never seen us have this, strong of a start to a sport, so I think that's a really good sign about how it's going to grow. We've already had other communities ask us how do we get involved, so that's exactly what we want for growing a sport to the point that we sanction it. So I definitely think we're on a good start, and I think next year we'll really see the effect that EuroLeague has had, and getting everyone interested in the sport. So it's going to be great.
And what have you thought so far about the young ladies and the coaches coming up here speaking to the members of the media?
They're very impressive. That they should be very proud of themselves. You know, I was sitting over here thinking, you know, we're in the 50th anniversary of Title IX this year, and it's such a cool thing that we can still be creating opportunities for young women in sports. So this is kind of really a momentous occasion that we're still doing that, and they all represent themselves so well, and I love seeing that we have, you know, athletes who are playing other sports and also kids that have never played a sport who are now getting involved in girls flag football. So that's really exciting. That's always what we're looking for, is to grow participation numbers.
Very well said. And we appreciate TSSAA for what you do throughout the year, and certainly for this opportunity. I do want to, and I'm putting Emily on the spot here a little bit, and I don't know what the mic's at. I think Charles has it. If anyone would like to ask Emily a question before we move on to Nolansville, you're certainly welcome to do it to get a TSSAA viewpoint. Anyone? Charles?
Yeah, if you didn't mind expanding a little bit on just the mentality of what this would have meant for you, you know, as a young athlete coming out, because I'm really interested in that. That was Coach Mancini for Ravenwood that had the same kind of reaction of like, oh, I wish I would have had this opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, growing up and you know, I was always a football fan and being around football, but never had that opportunity. I mean, as a child, I think as a fifth grader, I asked to play on the team and wasn't allowed because I was a girl. So to have an opportunity like this with other girls who are interested, I think a lot of times girls are told, you know, it's not for you, and that's obviously not true. You know, girls love football and are very talented. And I think someone said something about paring down the playbook. You don't have to pare down the playbook. These girls are smart and athletic. Like, they can do anything that the boys can do. So that would have been an awesome experience for me. I would have loved that in high school. So I'm excited that all of these girls are getting that opportunity.
Emily, Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Have you heard from other school districts about potentially adding flag football next year and beyond?
Yes, we have heard from some that are interested in different parts of the state, and so we're kind of exploring how to expand this where we can see some, you know, inter-county competition.
When we talk about sanctioning the sport, is there a number that needs to be hit in order to do that?
Not necessarily a number. We're trying to follow, like Josh said, with Florida and Georgia. They kind of followed a model where they started in one county and then hit the counties surrounding that. And I think by year three, we're sanctioned. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. And I think we can hit those, you know, whatever that imaginary number is, pretty fast.
Well, Emily, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your support, again, not only for girls flag football, but really throughout the year. You guys do a great job, so thank you for being here.
Thanks, and I appreciate you having me. This is very exciting.
Nolansville High School is up next. Coach Kern, if you guys will come up. Coach, if you'll sit in the middle here, one on each side. Again, a member of the Nolansville tackle football staff does a great job, Coach Curran, Coach Pat Curran from Nolansville High School. Coach, if you would introduce who you have here with you, and then also maybe an opening statement about what you've seen so far, what your expectations are, and then we'll take questions from the media. Pat Curran, Nolansville High School.
So I've got Courtney Williams and Sarah Colcarney, and they are two sophomores who are playing for us. And they both play quarterback for us, and you know, they're sort of our veterans because we're a young team. We've got mostly freshmen out, and just a few sophomores and 2 juniors, and actually no seniors. So we're going to build off this year going forward. But you know, it's been a really fun experience being able to get out with a different group of athletes that I don't usually get to see in a different setting. And you know, some of these young ladies I've taught and some I haven't, but just being able to see them in an athletic setting has been really fun. And you know, the enthusiasm and the passion that they've all shown has been tremendous. You know, they all today we were able to give out the uniforms. You know, shout out to Tay Martin for that, and everybody was really excited about that. So and just, you know, our the amount of kids we've had at practice has been really steady, and this, the same kids showing up over and over again. It's been really great. It's been a fun experience. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday and being able to host and seeing what kind of product we put out on the field.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and this is for the players. What was your initial reaction when you found out this was all being put together and you're going to be able to play flag football with a bunch of your schoolmates?
Yeah, that question is for me. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. I was distracted.
Honestly, I was pretty excited about the whole idea because I've always been a big football fan. Like, I love the Titans and the Bengals, and then Ohio State for the college teams. And I grew up throwing a football with my neighbors, so being able to play like flag football, it made me pretty excited.
Kind of like what Courtney said, I've always been around football. I've always loved football. I'm from Atlanta, so I'm a big Georgia fan for college. I like the Falcons. And, I've always remembered just watching football and with my family and my friends. And whenever there was a football around, I'd always grab the football and throw it around. And it was exciting to find out that I'd get to be able to play for school, which is fun.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Coach, we heard from Centennial earlier about the influence that like the 7-on-7 for the guys in the summer had. How much did you have to carry over from 7-on-7 and help them with the girls?
Well, it's similar in that, some of the same things that we do on Friday nights, we've adopted into our playbook in a more of a 7-on-7 way. The main difference is the center can go out for a pass, so that's added even a different element to it. That's a little bit different from the way we've done 7-on-7 in the past. So, but a lot of those concepts that we run in 7-on-7 are things that we're doing right now. Now, the other obvious difference is you can run the ball, and that's not something that you usually do in the summer 7-on-7. So being able to kind of adopt some schemes into being able to run the football in this league is a little bit of a difference that we've had to add to. So.
Scott Burton, 615 Preps. This is for Sarah and Courtney. What has the reaction been in the school with the support from the student body, and have you found that other girls are coming up to you and showing interest?
I think our school is pretty excited to host like a girls flag football team because we have obviously the guys football team, but it's just a different experience for the girls to have one. So I think everybody's pretty much excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's, something new, we're a pretty new school, so I think adding this for it to like build up on, I think especially now and in the future, it'll just gain more and more excitement because, like I said, we're a new school, so I feel like having this be a part of our school so early on, I think is really good.
Coach, same question.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of interest. A lot of, the faculty's been really interested in talking to me about it, and I'm really looking forward to and interested to see what Sunday looks like. We get to host the first weekend, so that's a really exciting thing for us. And Brentwood and Ravenwood are coming over, so schools relatively close in the area that we have a familiarity with. So, it should be a good time and a good crowd. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday and seeing how the support and hopefully what we've seen from the faculty and the student body carries over into a crowd to come support us on Sunday.
Charles with the Williamson Herald. Coach, talk a little bit about the makeup of this team, because there's a lot of youth for you out there, and in terms of having a lot of youth, I feel like we're going to have a lot of new competitors as well. So what's that like for you, and how are you kind of approaching this? It's a new sport, and you got a lot of new faces, it seems like.
Yeah, so it's new for everybody. No one has any returning players. So while we are young, you can see on the roster we're mostly freshmen, but that I don't feel like that is necessarily an impediment for us because again, there's no one's had a team before, and really right now we're just working on putting the best players out there and finding where everybody fits the best, which is a challenge because I've never seen these athletes in this in this capacity before. So just find out where everybody fits in and putting the pieces in is a little bit of a challenge, and I think it's going to be kind of a something that develops along the way, and I'm sure it will be with everyone else, looking to see once we start getting into competition, who stands out, where they stand out, and that kind of thing. But we're excited about the youth we have, and they were just talking about possibly getting this sanctioned in year 3, and that would be most of our team would be able to participate in a TWSAA sanctioned sport, which would be unbelievable. That would be very exciting. I know for me, and I know for Courtney and Sarah, who if that timeline holds, they'd be able to be seniors on the first TWSAA sanctioned flag football team. So I know that would be exciting for them. Definitely be exciting for me.
Charlie Bateman homepage. This is for all 3 of you. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
Well, it's really special, for me to be able to be a part of something like this. We saw, like when we went and had our preseason meeting, we saw how the sport grew in Georgia and Florida, and how big in popularity, and that they are having the same people involved and growing it here and kind of going on the same model. So I believe that I'm really excited about it. I think it's a very special thing. And, I've got a daughter I've got 2 daughters, but one is going to, in 3rd grade, she's going to play flag football for her school this year. So I'm really excited. She's going to come to the game on Sunday, and I'm really excited for her to be able to see these athletes compete in the high school level and be able to give her something to possibly looking forward to, and say, hey, by the time you're in high school, this may be something that is all over the place and has been something that has been sanctioned and played for a number of years. So that's really an exciting thing for me.
I feel honored to be able to be a part of this, because I would look back and see, like, the younger girls, I feel like we would be kind of role models, and they can, like, look up and be like, hey, I want to play flag football someday. So it's pretty cool to experience this.
Yeah, I feel like when I was in elementary school or middle school, you told me I'd be able to play flag football in high school. I wouldn't think that was possible. So to be a part of, like, the first season, I think is really special, and hopefully other girls that are in elementary and middle school now will see it as, like, a normal thing, like, oh, I'm going to play football, instead of, like, wondering if they will ever get to, if they love the sport. And I feel like Courtney said, like, honored to be part of the first season.
And then another question for all 3 of you. Do you feel like it's an advantage or a disadvantage you start with Ravenwood and Brentwood?
Well, it's definitely going to be exciting. I mean, I think I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage to play as no one knows what anyone else has talent-wise, So having those 2 teams, those 2 schools come over with, obviously they have a pretty intense rivalry, and being able to host and have that kind of energy at our stadium in the first game, I think that could be a very exciting atmosphere, and I'm hoping that it will, be something to add to the atmosphere there. So I don't know if it's I guess to answer your question, I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage, but I'm excited about it because I think it could be very influential on the atmosphere of the game and all those kind of things. So.
Yeah, I think the fact that they're, like, our rivals and it's a home game and we get to host the whole thing, I think that part of it is an advantage. But like Coach said, we don't know what any team looks like, so I feel like it's anyone's game. But I'm pretty confident in our team, and it's a home and the environment is much different, and there are rivals, so there's a lot of excitement.
I agree with Sarah. I feel like Nolansville and Ravenwood has always had this, like, rivalry and I don't know the word, just rivalry against each other, and yeah.
Girls, one of the things I'm kind of curious about in learning and taking part in a new sport like this, what's something that kind of stands out a little bit to you as you're understanding a little more, or what's something you're taking away from these first few practices as you get ready for these games too?
I think it's definitely different, the fact that it's like flag football. I've always grown up playing tackle, and I enjoy, like, the physicalness of the sport, so I think having to not be physical is going to be something that's interesting. But I feel like it's just going to be fun. Just any chance to just play the sport, it'd be fun.
I think that having to learn how to play the sport is probably the hardest factor, because you have people coming from all different knowledges of football. So being able to work with everybody and see where they're coming from, that's probably the hardest things.
What Courtney said, getting the chemistry there and everyone on the same page, and having some people who have more knowledge about the sport and some people who maybe this is their first time and they just wanted to try it out. So I feel like that's going to be the hardest part. I feel like getting everyone up to the same page, but I also think that's the fun part, because everyone's learning something that they don't really know and learning something new and maybe finding out something that they're really good at, and I think that's the good part.
She just answered my question. Any other questions? Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Coach. Ladies. Next up, we're going to have Page High School, and I'm going to put Coach Rathbone on the spot just a little bit, but in a good way, as Coach comes up. Coach had a pretty darn good season as head coach of a tackle football team, played pretty deep into December. And so, one of the things we did in the district, Tay talked about this earlier, is we asked that, hey, tackle football coaches, head coach, if you can, we'd love you to be involved in flag football. And Coach Rathbone jumped right in. He really did. Never complained about it. He was excited about it. And something else, too, maybe you guys can ask him about this, but in our first meeting, he came up to me and talked about how much he loved it, how girls are listening, they're into it. And that really was exciting to me, and it's got to be exciting to these young ladies, because he's a pretty important figure, not only at his school, but in this district and across the state in the tackle football area. So it shows how interested we are in it as a district and doing it right. I know these young ladies are interested, and we certainly appreciate guys like Coach Rathbone and his interest. So, Coach, we really do appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, if you would, introduce who's with you, and then we'll, if you would, give an opening statement, then we'll take questions from the media. Coach Rathbone, Page High School.
So we have Tia Atkinson, Addison Duggar, Kyla Davis. I tell you what, when this first came up a while ago, and then we had the run that we had in the tackle football, and that's a long season, and you need some time to recover. But I tell you what, these girls have been so inspirational to me. I absolutely love being out there with them and watching them learn and get after it. And I've heard some of the questions y'all asked about the tackling and stuff like that. And and I was thinking, well, they're going to be slower. They're not going to be able to throw the ball. They're going to struggle with catching, and that's not the case. I was probably a typical male that prejudged these young ladies. They're athletic, they're fast, they run well. But man, I was thinking 4:30 practice be done, and they want let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going. And they want to go to 5 and 5:15. I'm like, good Lord, ladies, I got to get home. I got to eat. But they're just awesome group to be around. I'm so excited for them. I'm excited about the opportunity. I wish this would have been here years and years and years ago. And the leadership you see from them, the work ethic, everything you could ever want in an athlete, we have in these three young ladies and everybody else on our team. I mean, it's just exciting. And the cool thing is you pull from, we got soccer players, and now we got basketball players, and then she used to play softball, doesn't play anymore, but then we got a couple ag girls on the team, and a couple of cheerleaders, and it's crazy, just all the different groups that you pull from. So it's exciting. I'm excited for these girls. I'm excited to see what we do on Sunday. I'm excited to see how they execute and catch the ball and run. And I'll tell you a couple of stories we had at practice, how different it is. My guys, they kind of know. You walk that line and don't be silly. We score a touchdown in practice, and the first thing they want to do is that silly little dance that all the NFL players are doing in there. What's it called, Tia? Yeah, the gritty. We had an interception return for a touchdown today, and these guys got down and did the canoe where they had 3 or 4 girls in and got a canoe like they're paddling and stuff like that. Usually I get mad, but you can't with these guys. I mean, they're just so much fun, and then they get right back into being intense and trying to learn. So I'm very honored to be here. I'm very honored to represent these young ladies. I'm honored to help them learn a little football and have a little fun in the process.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and Coach, you mentioned you have a bunch of players that play all sorts of sports. You have a couple of basketball players coming off a great run through the state tournament. How big have they been leadership-wise for a lot of the younger players?
Well, the basketball, to be honest, these are my leaders right here. The basketball girls been out one day. They came out yesterday, and today they couldn't make it. They had something else they had to do, but I'm excited to get those girls out. Mackenzie Cochran, Lily Wilkins, Sadie Porter could throw the ball 50 yards. I mean, we got what, 7 or 8 now basketball girls, and so we're excited to add their athleticism to them, but they really haven't been there. So we're kind of, I told these guys, I don't know how we're going to start out, but we're shooting for that tournament down at Titan Stadium, and that's where we really want to be clicking at the right time.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Ladies, y'all got to watch the boys go to the state championship game in this past fall. How much did that inspire y'all, knowing that this was around the corner?
It made me excited for the season, knowing that Coach Rathman was able to lead that team into a historic season. So, yeah.
It shows how much passion he has as a coach. It kind of inspires me. Makes me want to do flag football more and just try something new out.
It lets me know that I have a good coach who has my back and that I can put my trust in him and really trust him and that he knows what he's doing.
And I'd like to pull out that, yes, we played in a state championship game, but these two ladies won a state championship game. So, they're both soccer players, and they brought home the gold ball. So, I mean, sometimes I'm looking to them, what do we need to do different? So it's excited to have them.
Coach, you mentioned in your opening statement about some of the physicality that you kind of had to rein back a little bit. Has there been one player that's you've had to really rein back, or has there been several?
I don't want to call anybody out, but to be honest with you, it's not a physicality to where they're mean. It's just that they're being aggressive, fighting for the ball. They're fighting for position. I mean, as a soccer player, a basketball player, it's pretty much basketball on turf is all it is. So I mean, they're positioning for the best position to catch the ball. And some of the girls that have not played sports, you got to teach them how to break down. Don't just go full speed and dive, and we got 1 or 2 of those. So, but most of these girls are athletic, and they're not doing it in an aggressive, hey, I'm gonna put you down in the dirt. It's more of, that ball's mine, I'm gonna go get it. So, and we kind of want that. You don't really want to rein that in.
Scott Burton, 615 Preps. This is for Kyla, Addison, and Tia. That first time that you heard about that you're going to have this opportunity, what was that first meeting like?
I was really excited about it because I kind of wanted something to do in the off season of my usual soccer season, and at first I was kind of on the edge about trying out, but when we first had the meeting and I saw everyone showing up, that kind of pushed me to try out and start something new.
I agree. I also think it brings all the girls' sports together. Now the soccer team is close with some basketball girls and volleyball and cheerleaders, so we're all bonding and having a really good time out there. This is really exciting.
I was excited as well for the season, especially seeing everyone come up to his room for the meeting. I knew I was going to do it from the start, and so yeah.
And Tia's been really the leader, really the person that has. I communicate with these girls through school email, but Tia's the one that does all the texting and all the other stuff. So she'll email me and I'll email her, hey, get word out to the girls, and stuff like that. But she's also an outside the lines, so she's been with it since day one and planning all this stuff. So she's been incredible in just doing, not only being the quarterback and some other things, but some off the field things that she does for the whole county, to be honest with you.
Well, Coach, what do you think that you're going to learn from this?
They brought, I'm learning from these girls every day. Football-wise, we can always learn football every single day. But it's cool. It's really fun just learning how much energy, how much excitement, how much passion they have for the sport of football. And to me, football is the greatest sport in the world. You never learn as much in life from anything else other than football, other than your faith in football. And for these girls to get to experience them and for them to eat it up and soak it up, they're like sponges, and they just brought a lot of energy to it, a lot of excitement. And just for me being able to be a part of their team is really what I'm getting out of it and what I'm learning. It's just the passion and the love for the game, and it's exciting to see that.
Hey, girls. Charles with the Williamson Herald here. You guys kind of touched a little bit on the mixing of teams and other athletes kind of coming together, but you also have some new faces too. Can you just kind of expand on the camaraderie that you all are experiencing as you're out there on the field for the first time together?
I mean, it's exciting to see like new faces and people you don't know that like, you know, like when you're playing sports, you know a few people, but like people that don't play sports, it's fun to like help them out and like, you know, teach them or like guide them their way through like the drills and the stuff we do. And I think it just brings us more together even with them, even though like we don't see them in sports or something. But yeah, we can like help them out and stuff.
I think it benefits like everyone because we get new friends and make more friends and outside of sports, and just brings the whole school together.
I was a little worried about how the team would mesh, considering, you know, we had the soccer team and the basketball team, which are obviously already really close. But it's worked out really well, and I'm excited to see the basketball girls and the soccer girls play too, since I've seen them during season, you know, filming them, and it's worked out very well, and we're able to mesh really well.
And I would actually like to add something to that because I heard this question asked earlier, and I pride myself on being very honest with you all and being honest with our athletes too. You do see those cliques. You do see the closeness of the basketball team. You see the closeness of the soccer team and the closeness of whoever else comes about track or whatever. And you can see that little bit of competitiveness. I know Duggar here, she wants to compete against basketball and soccer and everybody else, and they all do. And that's fine. That's, you know, that's part of growing up and learning how to play with each other and learning. That's the great thing about this. That's why, to me, I try to be so passionate about this, because seeing these soccer players work with the basketball players and work with the track and working with the ag girls and they finally come together and they click and, hey, they're cheering for each other, not, you know, soccer, not basketball. We're all Page Patriots, and that's been so cool to see.
Charlie Bateman, homepage. First question is for Coach Rothbone. Coach, are you excited about coaching football most of the school year now that there's 2 football teams?
You know, absolutely. If you know me and you know my backstory, football saved my life. You know, without football, I wouldn't be here today, and that's just God's honest truth. So I'm passionate about this sport, and more so than the sport, I'm passionate about these kids. So anytime I can have just a little impact and make a difference in a kid's life, be some sort of role model, and they know that I'm somebody that cares about them as an individual, then I do it 12 months, 365 days. You know, I do it every single day of my life if I could.
And next question, this is for all of you. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
I think it pushes me harder to know that, I mean, obviously to like have a first really good season, and 2, just to be like the first ones to start it and like get everyone going. Like the next few years there'll be like a bunch more people trying out, because, you know, there was a lot of people trying out this time, and we were like doing good during the season stuff and like getting along with everyone.
I feel like it's really important because we get to start something great and we get to start off on the right foot, and I think this group of girls will be a really good group to start off with.
Like Duggar said, it pushes me hard to try my best and to be a leader, because this is the only season I get to do it, but also it's the first year, so I want to set the tone for not only Page but for all the schools and just the community of flag football in Williamson County.
And then,
well, I was just going to say, and I told Darren this at our meeting, you know, I've been around athletics or high school athletics now for 22 years, been at Page for 20, and I've seen a lot of things come and go, and good Lord's my witness, I honestly do believe this is the next big thing in high school sports. I really do believe this is an opportunity that these girls are going to take by the horns and run with it and dominate, and you know, I could see it one day being up there right with Friday Night Lights and high school football, and you know, playing these girls on Friday nights under the lights. You know, I think that would be an awesome experience.
Then last question for all of you. Is there any team you're looking forward to playing on the schedule?
Definitely Fairview. They're obviously our rival, but I think we have something to prove after losing to our scrimmage this past week.
I agree with Tia, but I also saw Franklin and their girls, and I know some of them, and they seem pretty athletic and fast. So I'm excited to play them and see like their rivalry.
I'm really excited to play Nolansville just through like soccer friends, and I know a good amount of girls on that team. But I'm just excited to play every team and just see people I know and see all the teams.
Is there any Murray County or Rutherford County teams out there we could play?
Not yet, right?
No, not yet.
Real quick, Tia, I've seen you a lot at the OTL sporting events all around here. To now be taking the field with this new sport, I mean, what's that like for you specifically?
I'm happy that I get another opportunity to play. After I quit softball, I figured that was it for me. But watching all these athletes in the fall and winter, it kind of inspired me, and it allowed me to kind of observe and get a new look on sports again and doing it again. So I'm really happy that I have this opportunity to get back on the field.
Thank you. Great job. Before we have Summit High School join us, they'll join us here in a few minutes. Couple points of clarification in the schedule there. You guys have your media guides. You'll notice that we have the 4 different weeks that we talked about. And then on May 7th, that's a Saturday, that's when we'll have the tournament. Again, that'll be Nissan Stadium, which we're excited about. We'll start off with the 9-8 game, so everyone will qualify for the tournament. You can tell by looking at the schedule that there are a total of 9 games. Everyone plays one another. Hopefully we won't have any ties, but if we do, we'll be able to break the tiebreakers. And then we'll do 9-8. Will be the first game in the tournament that day. We're looking to start at 10 o'clock, and then we'll just go right down the line with the winner of that game playing the 1, then 2 versus 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, and then the semis and the finals. So we're really excited about that. Again, in our first season, the support of the Titans, the support of the TSSAA has been very important to the success of this. Again, we're at our first annual Girls Flag Football Media Day. We appreciate the folks at MAFIAoZA for having us. Appreciate Tay Matthews Team Sports, and Adidas, Walker Chevrolet for what they do to support the WCS Sports Conference. Such a big part of what we do. And you guys can't see them that are out there watching, but WCTV and Lance West for making this live stream happen. And then also the members of the media here. We certainly appreciate you guys and what all you do for Williamson County. So next up, we'll have Summit. We'll finish with Franklin High School and Fairview. To the first annual Girls Flag Football Media Day. Next up, we have Summit High School and Coach Martin. Coach, if you would, introduce who you have here with you, and then give us kind of an opening statement of what it's been like so far and what the expectations are, and then we'll take questions from the media. Coach Martin, Summit High School.
All right. To my right, I have McKinley Johnston. To my left, I have Sydney Wright. And as far as how things have been going so far, they've been going great. You know, we've been having fun at practice. That's a question we ask every day. Make sure they're having fun. If they're not, we got to figure out what we need to do to make it a little bit more fun. But they've been pleased in those regards, I would say. Wouldn't y'all say? Expectation-wise, you know, we expect to win when it comes down to it. You know, have fun, compete, and win. We're excited about this program. I personally want to thank Williamson County and Tay Matthews and his sports attire and the Titans for putting this together. I think it's a great opportunity for these girls to, you know, play a sport that they normally don't play outside of Powder Puff. So we're excited. Like I said, we want to compete and win and have fun.
Girls, Charles Pulliam with the Williamson Herald. I'd like to know, as seniors coming into this and being a part of this first year, I mean, what's it been like? And then also a two-part question here. What's it been like being a part of this first season so far? And then what kind of advice do you have for maybe younger girls that should try this?
It's really exciting being a part of the very first year, especially me and Sydney are seniors, so this is our only year to do it, and Sydney sees the opportunity pretty quickly. I think it's really exciting because it's our only year to do it, and so we have nothing to lose. And so that really sets the standard for us is we're going to push it for our team to do as best as we can, because we're trying to set the bar higher for the next grades coming. And I really would give advice to any rising underclassmen or rising freshmen or juniors or seniors that please do girls flag football, because I've had people come up to me in the hallway all the time being like, no way, you're on the flag football team, or dude, I should have signed up while I could have. And I'm saying don't miss the opportunity, because it's going to be one of your favorite experiences in your high school career.
And it's really exciting because, you know, after our last football game, every one of the seniors was just like, didn't want it to end, wanted the student section to be hype and still. And it's like, this is kind of a second football season, but it's reverse. And yeah, like McKinley said, I would give advice to any girls coming up, like, just try it. We have girls from all different sports. We have track, we have soccer, basketball, and you don't have to be good at football, but you can learn. So I would just try it at least.
Charlie Bateman homepage. First question is for Coach Martin. Coach Martin, what does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
I take pride in it. Like I said earlier, I think it's a great opportunity for these girls, to play a sport that they typically don't play outside of, powder puff, and, if they play for fun with their brother or their dad or something like that. Repeat the question again, I'm sorry.
What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football?
My bad, it's been a long day. Like I said, it's special. I take pride in it. I'm just ready to get out there and compete. I love seeing them interact with each other, outside of people that they play a sport with, like the volleyball players interact with basketball interact with softball, so forth and so on. So those new relationships that they're creating and talking to girls that they normally wouldn't talk to, you know what I'm saying? So I enjoy seeing that, and I'm just excited about the season, ready to get it started.
And then the next question is for all of you. We talked earlier with Independence's coach and players, and they said they were really excited playing Summit on the schedule. Is the feeling mutual with your team?
Oh yeah, the feelings are mutual. Indy Summit Week is one of the best weeks in any sport, and I'm definitely excited. They are the #1 team that I'm excited to play this season.
Always excited for a border battle.
Yeah, basically to back up what they said, I'm excited to play Indy. I'm relatively new to Williamson County, and one of the first things I heard about when I got a job at Summit was Indy. We want to beat them in everything. Those are our rivals. And then, I coach football as well, so our first game playing them, and I saw that atmosphere. I was like, okay, this is for real. And so after being there, I see, I know what it means when we play Indy, so obviously we want to win and beat Indy. So.
You kind of mentioned about mixing the different teams, the different athletics out there. What's that meshing kind of been like? I've been asking this to each question, for you, Coach, especially in terms of having different athletes from different aspects of sports here coming together to learn something new. What's that kind of been like? What are you seeing from the meshing, and how's the camaraderie overall?
The camaraderie is great. One thing that I realized with our team is they pick up on things fast, and they also ask great questions. Like me and my other two coaches, we get shocked at some of the questions they ask, because they're, like I said, very good questions, better than some questions the football players ask. So and the camaraderie, like I said, it's been great. Like I think a lot of them have made new friends from the time we've practiced outside of their teammates on their respective sports. So that's been great to see. Everybody's been getting along, and they've been competing and having fun. So we're just going to try to keep it going.
Scott Burton with 615 Preps, and this is for McKinley and Sydney. what was your experience with football before you had this opportunity?
My experiences was just the school football. You know, you had your student section and the normal football games, and it was a very loving atmosphere because we had such a good team. So it's just like we loved winning, and it was just fun. So
Yeah, I would say that it's pretty much just been our experience level has been like watching our football team. Me and Sydney are both really close with a lot of our friends on our football team. Our athletic community at Summit's really tight-knit. And so it's been always fun going to football games because those are some of your best friends playing, and you're also standing next to your close classmates and friends cheering them on. So now taking the place of actually being on the field is something that me and her have never done before. But it's very exciting because all of our the football players at our school keep coming up to us and being like, "Dude, you're also playing center? I got to give you some tips sometime. Like, but we should practice."
Coach, what I know they answered some around their peers, but what have you seen in the school that this is effect this has had on the student body?
I think McKinley said it earlier. A lot of girls, when this opportunity presented itself, they were, excited about it because, like, we've all seen the Powder Puff game and how competitive and fun that is. But, like, to actually know that this is, like a real league, I think that brought a lot of excitement. And then as far as, the atmosphere and stuff around the school, I think it's a calm before the storm right now. I mean, we, as coaches and teachers, we don't hear probably as much as they do. I mean, other teachers and stuff, they ask about it, when's your games and stuff like that. But I think the students are more so, communicating about it and whatnot. And from what the girls tell us, that they're going to show up Sunday. So I love playing, in front of a big crowd, whether I'm coaching or playing myself. So I think the atmosphere is going to be great. I'm just excited to see, what happens on Sunday.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. This is for McKinley and Sydney. There's always an energy during game days during the fall on Fridays before a big game. But what's it going to feel like Sunday morning when you wake up and you feel like it's game day and it's your game day?
It's going to be exciting. It's the first flag football game in Williamson County, and we're going to be making history. So I think it's a little nervousness just because I don't think anyone knows what they're doing really, but we're excited.
Yeah, it's the wake up Sunday morning, you're going to go to church, and then instead of sitting on the couch watching Sunday football, you're going to be on the field playing Sunday football. And I feel like Sundays is going to be the highlight of my weekend now because I can just go out there Sunday afternoon and play football. If I mess up, I mess up. I'm going to learn from my mistakes, but I'm going to be so excited about it.
And Coach, this is for you. What are the nerves going to be like for you on Sunday morning?
I'm going to be anxious, I would say, because I'm a retired athlete, so I still have to play through, the players. So I'm sure I'm going to have butterflies, but it won't be nervous butterflies. It'd be, like I said, anxious butterflies. I'm same way and wake up, go to church, be ready to go, like I'm playing. So I hope they bring a lot of energy and compete and bring, and just give 100% effort.
Joe Spears with Tennessee, and Coach, rules-wise, just how different is this compared to what you're used to doing in the fall?
I actually have a 7-on-7 background. I play in adult leagues myself, so I'm familiar, with the rules. The only rule that I really was a little different was the rushing rule. In this league, you got to be 5 yards off the line of scrimmage before you can rush. But aside from that, all the other stuff is pretty much the same. So the main thing was just making sure they understood the rules, so we don't get a stupid penalty or things like that.
Thinking in terms of finding the time here, especially for you girls and being seniors out there. I mean, to give up the Sunday, kind of expand on that a little bit of just the timing of this and the process of making it to practice, usually a little later because you're sharing fields, and just finding that time as seniors to be able to play.
I would say that obviously half of our team plays a different sport. So we don't always have everyone at practice because someone has a game or someone else has another practice that they have to go to. But I feel like that's what makes our practices so unique and so important, is because when we are there, everyone is fully focused and all in, and we'll practice wherever we have to. We've practiced on the practice football field, we've practiced in the gym, we've practiced in the commons, and we've also practiced in the parking lot. We will find anywhere it takes to practice, and we are so excited for Sunday and fully prepared.
For me, it's really just, it's such a blessing having coaches and teammates who are able to work around everything. Like McKinley said, if the gyms are taken, then we're in the commons. If the commons are taken, we're on the field. Like, we're just always able to work around. And when this first started up, I was really excited, but I was like, man, how am I going to be able to do this? Because I do shot put and discus, and we have meets and practices during the week. So when I found out it was going to be on Sunday, I was like, yeah, thank you. Like, it was just a blessing in disguise, I guess. But, yeah.
Thank you. Great job, Summit High School. Next up is Franklin High School. Again, Franklin High School's next. We'll finish up with Fairview High School. Appreciate MAFIAoZA for having us. It's been a great night, as always, here at MAFIAoZA. Again, thank you to Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet for helping support the WCS Sports Conference, and, of course, Tate Matthews and Matthews Team Sports and Adidas. Franklin, if you guys will come on up. As they make their way up here, I think one of the things that's been really exciting for me, again, I've mentioned, is the coaches being so involved. And I've told Coach Beebe here, who's the volleyball coach there at Franklin High School, she and Coach Mancini from Ravenwood are going to get a lot of media requests because they are two young ladies that I have said need to be kind of the poster women of this league, because if this is going to be a successful league on down the line, we have to have the involvement of some women as coaches. So I'm excited about that. Also excited about Coach Webb being involved, longtime head coach at Franklin High School. And he, much like Charles Rathbone, has talked about how exciting it is and the enthusiasm of the young ladies out there playing. So that's been fun to talk about too. So if we would, Coach Webb, if you'll start off, introduce who's with you. I want Coach Beebe to also introduce herself, and then if you'll make an opening statement about your expectations, what's happened so far, and then we'll take questions from the media. Franklin High School.
Donnie Webb, Franklin High.
I'm Sophia. I'm a senior.
I'm Abby Pill. I'm also a senior.
Michaela Beebe, Franklin.
It's Sophia Rattan.
Yes, Rattan.
Without a doubt, the first thing I want to tell you is I'm just so happy that they're doing this, number one, giving these young ladies the opportunity, and then second of all, giving us the opportunity. It might be the most fun coaching I've had in the last 10 years. It's awesome. And we're looking forward to them enjoying the game of football and then hoping that they'll have a little fun and win some games.
Charlie Bateman, homepage. First question is for Coach Webb. Coach Webb, what made you, after not a part of the football team, decide you wanted to be the head coach of flag football?
Well, to be honest, when it first came up way back, I was still technically coaching football when they were talking about they were going to run a pilot. And the first thing I noticed right off the bat was the Titans they wanted the high school football coaches to be involved with it. And thankful, we're glad we got Coach Beebe as well, because we want to get, the goal is to get more women involved in it, but we wanted it to be legit, man. And, what's the first thing I told them first day? Don't come out here saying the word powder puff. We're playing flag football, and so that's why I wanted to do it, and I'm just excited about it.
And this next question is for all of you. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
I want to let Sophia.
Oh, thank you. I was super excited about it when they first, people were just talking. They're like, yeah, I think we're going to start a flag football team. And I was like, really? Like, is that, like he said, like, is that like powder puff that we do at homecoming or whatever? But no, it's definitely a lot bigger, and I could see it going really far and being super successful. And so to be a part of that first pilot year is super important.
I totally agree. I think it's crazy that we finally get to like have flag football. I always got to play with like boys, and we didn't have a team, so I think it's super crazy to like finally have our own team, and it's like only girls, and like we already like so many people are talking about coming to the games. I think that's just so fun that we have like our own football team.
And last question, which is also for all of you. Do you feel like it's an advantage or disadvantage that you're starting with Centennial with Battle of the Franklin?
Coach Baby, you on it?
I mean, I think I'm neutral about it. I mean, I think, let's go with advantage.
I'll tell you real quick, and then I'll let the ladies answer it. The thing that, as we're building a program, say part of it that I disliked about it was immediately, what was the first thing y'all said in practice? I keep telling them we're going to be better in the second game than we were in the first game. We're going to be better in the third game than we were in the second game because we're going to learn how to play. And they go, but we're playing Centennial the first game. So that part of it's a little bit of a disadvantage.
I think it's definitely an advantage just because we have that, like, during normal football season, we have that, like, such a strong rivalry that, like, motivates us during that. And then with being so close, both schools in Franklin, we have a lot of friends on the Centennial flag football team. So it's, like, a little bit of a friendly competition, but also, like, we're here to win.
Charles Boyne with the Williamson Herald. In terms of being seniors for you girls, especially being seniors out here, what kind of advice do you have for younger girls that maybe didn't try it this year or are trying it for the first time, and what kind of advice do you have for them about trying flag football?
I think that like you should just always try whatever you can. I feel like there's a lot of girls out here that just came for fun and they're actually like falling in love with it. And there's like something for everybody, and honestly, it's all about having fun, and we're gonna win every game. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. I would say because for me, it was something like I cheer every single month of the year, and I was like, okay, well, cheer's over. Like I want something to do. Heard we were starting a flag football team, and so I think for the girls that didn't try out this year and were maybe a little bit hesitant, that should come out to the games and watch it and definitely join next year. And then for the younger girls who did try out, I think it's definitely something they should stick with, because especially since it's so new and I see it going so far, I think that'll be really good for them to like stick with and grow in and really learn the game.
Scott Burton with 615 Preps. This is for Coach Beebe. When you first heard about the opportunity of the girls flag football league, what were your thoughts?
I was like, really? But no, I was so excited. I mean, I've grown up around football, and I absolutely love it. And it's just really special. I think that I can, join in Thanksgiving conversations now. But yeah, no, I think it's awesome. So I was super excited when I first heard about it.
Coach Webb, what do you find different about coaching girls versus boys, as far as just how you interact with them?
Two things right off the bat that immediately come to my head. Number one, the football part of it, it's unnatural. It's because they don't do it all the time, and they're honest. They're honest about it. We're trying to throw and catch something that they haven't done since they were 5 years old in the backyard. But I learned on day one, ladies like to ask questions, and they don't do it disrespectful. They just want to know the answer, and if you're honest with them and tell them the answer, then they're right there, and they'll do whatever you ask them to do. But without a doubt, that's the two things that popped into mind right off the bat.
This is for Abby and Sophia. When you, what is has been your background with football? Did you have any real knowledge of the game, or is this really just coming new to you?
I mean, I have, like, my dad and my brother. My brother played all of high school. Like, Coach Webb coached him. And I would say, like, I've cheered for football my whole life and played with my dad and brother, like, in the backyard. I would say I have probably more of a knowledge than most girls, and so I knew this was definitely something I wanted to do. but I'm also, flag football is a lot different, and the rules are different and very different, and so we're just going along and learning, and I like to see like the similarities and differences, and so I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, just like Sophia, I always played with my neighbors and everything, and so like I kind of had like a general knowledge of everything. But it's definitely different playing flag than real football. I watch football all the time, and then I got out playing flag, and I'm like, oh, this is so different. But it's easy to catch on to.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. Girls, I want to just go off what you just talked about. How hard was it not to just go tackle somebody that first practice?
Oh, well, we played powder puff in homecoming, and I may have tackled a few girls on accident. And so it was really hard not to. And then they were like, no, like hands behind your back or like up here. And I was like, really? And then, but they put me on offense because of that. So
I'm coming from playing rugby, so I just can't not try to tackle somebody, but I'll just go for the flags.
We'll go back to the question you asked me about what's the difference, ladies. Every play we do, well, can I block somebody? Can I hit somebody? That's easy.
And this one's for Coach Beebe. You know, your dad was an NFLer. How much has he talked to you about you doing this?
Honestly, he thinks it's hilarious and just like so great. He sent me some football stuff. He sent me a route tree the other day. I was like memorizing all the routes, you know. So he's been so great, and it's fun to talk to him about it for sure.
Joe Spears with the Tennessean, just for the coaches, just kind of how neat has it been to see just all these different groups of girls gel together? I mean, cheerleaders, basketball players. I mean, just how have they gelled together, and how neat has that been to see so far?
With me, I do. I think that's a great question. I think it's really cool. With me as a football coach that was in tackle football, I was always encouraging the guys to play other sports. And like we said, Abby you played soccer as well. It was rugby, soccer, cheerleading, and we've got basketball, of course, the soccer, softball, volleyball, lacrosse, even got an equestrian out there. So it's really cool for them to add something else to their repertoire.
Yeah, that's almost my favorite part of it. Just all the girls together, and this is my first year at Franklin and just in this community. So just meeting a whole bunch of new girls from Franklin too has just been so awesome, and they're just so fun.
Good job. Thank you, Franklin High School. We'll have Fairview High School up next. All right, as they make their way up here, Fairview High School's our last group. We're saving the best for last, Coach Hughes said. Coach, if you'll sit here in the middle, ladies on either side. As Coach comes up here, and Coach, I will admit I said this earlier. You guys sit on the other side. Each side's fine. Coach will sit in the middle. Coach Hughes has experience flag football. He plays at a very high level. He was one of the coaches who talked to me about it early on, about his excitement and wanting to be involved in it. So I think everybody in the district understands his commitment to flag football. But Coach, I did say that maybe because of that you might feel just a little bit of pressure, because I think the expectation is Coach plays, so they're just going to dominate the league. So I'll be interested to see if you guys ask him that, or if Coach, you could address it when we start off. But guys like Coach Hughes, it's the reason this is going to work, because he is so excited about it, and he is trying to rally the whole community to get behind it. So I'm excited about that, and I know the girls are too. And really, I can say that about all the coaches, but he was certainly someone that early on, he and I had quite a few conversations. So, Coach, if you would, starting off, introduce who's with you, talk about your expectations and what's happened so far, and then we'll take questions from the media. Chris Hughes, Fairview High School.
Thank you, Darren. I do feel a lot of pressure, so I think we're going to go 0-8, so anything better than that is great. I'm just joking. I'm Chris Hughes, the head coach at Fairview. I have two great ladies here with me. So not used to sitting between two girls instead of a bunch of football guys, so this is a little different. This is Alyssa Berg. She's from Texas, came here from San Antonio, and now she's at Fairview. We're happy to have her. She got here. And this is Alyssa Andrea. So if you say Alyssa, you're good. Andrea and Berg. I call her Texas so I don't get them confused. And Alyssa's our cross-country state champion, and she's running track right now, and so is Alyssa Berg. I have several softball players and track runners on the flag team. So that's good with the introductions. These are two wonderful students, wonderful athletes, and I think both are having a great time with flag football.
Joe Spears with Tennessee. And Coach, just how important is it for this to be getting started, and how much support have you guys seen from the school?
Well, and Darren knows this, but I've appealed to TWSAA for 8 years to have this, not just from Williamson County, but across the state. Georgia has a state association that has flag football, Texas, New Jersey, Florida. And when I go to tournaments out of town, those women who were girls in high school are so much better than the ones that I can bring from here because of that experience. And I felt like we were getting left behind. Then when NAIA started having flag football and some D3 schools, and now they're giving scholarships, then the word started to get out. But because the Titans and Josh Corey got behind this, put some money behind it with the NFL play and all of that stuff, now all of a sudden it's happening. Thank goodness for Darren and Josh Corey and them convincing the TWSAA that we need this. You know, a lot of people think we don't need it for equity because we have as many girls' sports. But for these girls to get a chance to play the game of football that they usually just watch and cheer on, and there's a lot of passion and heart, it's really cool to see them playing the game and the guys getting to put that cheer them on and have that passion from other side and basically return the favor. So I just think it's a great thing. I think every state will adopt it eventually. It is the fastest growing sport in the United States and across the world. And I know several people on the Team USA team. The Olympics in 2028 is supposed to have flag football. So, and it's built around the women's game.
Chris Brooks, 615 Preps. This is for the girls first. When you guys found out that this was going to happen and you know that your coach is very experienced in flag football, what was that like for you initially?
It was pretty cool. So I was new here. Over Christmas break is when I moved from Texas, and I had no idea there was going to be a flag football team or anything. So when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool because my dad was a football fan, and my brother plays football too, so I've known the game for years now. So I was pretty excited, and it's going really well so far. We have a lot of girls that are really into the game already, and we're learning really fast. So I'm really excited to see how this season goes. I think we are going to win a lot of games, and I think we're going to do really good.
When I found out, I thought, like, my first thought was, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, think of how, am I talking too far into it? Oh, it's my bad. So just, like, thinking about, like, how I think I can speak for, like, a lot of the girls on the team, like Alyssa said, that a lot of us grew up playing with our brothers, but not a lot of us got the chance to play. A lot of us grew up playing with our friends, and not of us got the chance to play. And to finally, like, have that want to play and to finally be able to play and, like, live that out for, like, younger girls to, like, even look up and just be like, wow, we can do that too. Like, I feel like that's so cool to just finally have that next generation. Like, that's so cool.
Alyssa was super excited because she said she saw me on YouTube, so that was good. But I tell the girls all the time that I played for 30 years in the NFL, and they really buy into that. They don't know it's the National Flag League, but that's where I got my start, and so it's a little joke we've got, but we really don't talk about that a lot. They get out there and they're so interested in learning, running routes. Alyssa was running routes with her stepdad. Before we even started practicing, I saw her out on the field running routes. And I was like, I'm assuming you're playing flag. And she said, yes, sir, I'm ready to go. So I'm excited for the girls.
Coach, I'm a little surprised y'all don't have the yellow jerseys instead of the black ones. I mean, did you push for those?
You know, it's hard to find the Fairview yellow. It's really hard to find that color. And I think Tate was being very cautious, but our girls really like this. We have yellow shorts, so it'll kind of set it all. We've ordered some black ones too, but Tate did really good. The girls loved the jerseys today. We had a team picture made today, and everybody was excited. So, and I let them keep them. I hope they're coming back when we play. So,
Coach Scott Burton, 615 Preps. What has been the reaction in the school to to the girls flag football league?
I tell you, there's a lot of skepticism from some that how this is going to work. A lot of excitement from others. I see a lot of people interested in it. What I think is going to happen, I think it'll happen at every school. A lot of girls are thinking about playing, not sure what it's about. And when they see the product and they see how exciting it is and how much fun these girls are having, next year you're going to see the numbers go up at every school to where eventually we have JV flag football. I mean, that's where it's headed. Right now, there's a few teams in the county that could do it now that have like 40 and 50 kids. With us with 24, just varsity. But I think people are wondering what is going to happen. It's just a lot of curiosity. But I have heard that Summit is bringing a student section Sunday to Fairview. So I've got to get my student section rallied to counter that. I think that would be so cool. Summit told me that they're bringing a bunch of guys to cheer on the girls. And I'm like, we're at Fairview. Surely we can bring our guys out and make it a great atmosphere on Sunday afternoon.
Well, Coach, you're unique in that you have the experience of playing where a lot of them don't. What is it about flag football that that may be different that people are going to learn, going to see, and what are some of the similarities?
Tyreek Hill would be a really good flag football player. I'm not sure that Aaron Donald would be. So it's a game of quick twitch, fast hip movement, and speed. I think that the flag football game, especially at the pro level that's being played now, it's all about speed. And I'm not talking about running a 4-4. I'm talking about stopping on a dime here and going back that way at full speed. And you have so many people that can do that. It is crazy. And then it's about accuracy. It's not about the deep ball. It's not about anything. It's about I'm going to throw a 3-yard slant, and this girl that's real fast is going to catch it and take it to the house. And so you look at a lot of quick game concepts when you're playing flag. Another reason you do that is because you can't block. So you got very limited time. I tell my quarterback all the time, when she holds it too long, I say, that's a sack. Like that's not going to get off. You can do a 3-second clock in your head or whatever you want to do, but a good rusher is going to get by a screen block pretty fast. And that's one of the reasons we put in the 5-yard rush zone, so that it gives those quarterbacks time to make decisions and throw, even though it's still got to be fairly quick.
And the ladies, hold on just a second, I lost my train of thought. This brings together girls from different walks and different areas. What is this? Has this allowed you to interact with other students that you may not necessarily would have talked with or interacted with at all?
Yeah, for sure. I've met a lot of people. I've started getting close with a lot of people from the team that I don't think I ever would have if I didn't join. I think it's that way for a lot of the players, especially those that are shy, don't really like to talk that much. So I think it's really cool that it's like a family. Like that's how sports should be, and that's how I feel like it is. So since I'm new, I think it's really it's been nice for me. Yeah.
I think too, going off of what Alyssa said, I feel like even though we are from all different walks of life, we all have to work together as a team, and just each other pass, just even a simple word, each one of us communicates, we communicate all practice. It's always good job. It's always a lot of congratulatory, at least from what I've seen from our scrimmage when we're off on the sidelines. I think I can definitely say that even though a lot of us are from different walks of life, we are definitely like one big family.
I think that's a great question, because just to tell you the dynamic, I have 2 or 3 girls that have never played a sport organized at all. I have a soccer player who is a superstar and going to be one of the best flag players in the league. I have 2 or 3 basketball players that are really good. I have these track and cross country stars. We have volleyball players. So we have all of these players who really didn't know each other. They knew of each other. Now they're on the field together for just a couple hours a week, but they're getting to build that bond. And what I like about what I see, and a lot of credit to my assistant coaches. My wife Stephanie is one of the assistants, and Tim Campbell, who both play flag with me when we travel. And she keeps those girls involved on the sideline, and there was a lot of hype. We had a little scrimmage with Paige, but it was so exciting. Even the girls on the sideline were learning and asking questions and it fired up every time a good play was made. So it was really fun. And I can see that bond that you were talking about where girls from different areas of the school now have something, a common thing together. So it's a great question.
Over here, Charles with the Williamson Herald. Girls, especially here, doing multiple sports at the same time. I'm just curious about how you balance your time and how you stay focused for both of these.
So football practices are typically like 1 day or 2 days a week, and they're later in the day, so they usually don't interfere with other sports. But sometimes it is hard for we have players that are in track, softball, and flag football, and so they have to make sure they make it. Summer Anderson, one of our quarterbacks, she goes to track for a few minutes, works on what she needs to, goes to softball, and then we'll make it back to flag football.
I get her tired every time. She's already tired every time.
Yeah. So, we all just work around flag football. The times are flexible, so it's good for those who play many sports, and it keeps them active too, in shape.
I think adding on to what Alyssa said, not just looking at extra sports, but looking outside of school, with work and with other things other girls have going on, like AAU and all of that. I think Coach Hughes had done a great job with scheduling practices and scheduling certain meetings in school so we can go over things and get it all together. And I think he's done a great job with working around our schedules.
Well, Charles, that has been the most challenging because there are so many things. And I'm so used to saying, you got to be here. And now I'm saying, that's okay. You should make it tomorrow. Make it next time. It's all good, So the whole demeanor, I tell these girls, it's first year, I want it to be so much fun with no pressure that even if you're only able to come to 1 or 2 games, come out and enjoy the experience. But I do have girls that are playing 2 other sports, and then they fit this in, and I have done everything I can and talked to those coaches to schedule us where we don't interfere with anybody. We never have interfered with anything going on. We are Wednesday at 5 when they're done with softball and track is over, and we are Sunday in the afternoon. And that doesn't interfere with anything. And when we first started this, and Darren and I had talked, those 2 dates made the most sense where you don't cause problems. Now, the softball coach doesn't want his good player hurt. The track coach doesn't want Alyssa pulling a muscle. But the flag football coach don't want her running the 400, the 800, and the 2-mile tomorrow either. So we have to balance it, Charles. The problem is for them to experience this, especially this is the first ever flag football games in the state of Tennessee in high school. They're always going to be able to be a part of that. So I would hate for any of them that wanted to do that to miss it. And so I always say, be here and have fun is the only 2 rules we have. Show up when you can. And I try not to be overly bearing on people that have conflicts. Because a lot of people work jobs, like she said. They are playing other sports. And it's been very challenging, but I'm happy that our girls seem to show up with energy still, even at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Because it's hard for me to get that energy, Charles.
Charlie Bateman, homepage. The first question is for Coach Hughes. Are you over the moon that you get to coach 2 football teams now?
I don't know. The girls are giving my guys a hard time, telling them we're going to win a state championship before they do. So that's kind of like a double-edged sword. But I am coaching both right now. We got workouts in the mornings at 6:30 a.m. So I get to see those guys. We got spring practice coming up a couple weeks. I will be doing spring practice and going straight from that to flag football. So it is great. I love the game of football. I would coach junior pro if they asked me to. So I don't mind it. It's very time consuming, but I stay busy regardless. I got a 9-year-old who's in baseball, everything you can think of. I got another daughter who is on the tennis team, and we watched the last couple of swings before we headed this way. So I'm always pulled somewhere. So being around football is great. The refreshing part is doing something that I have a passion for that can last a lifetime. Because I'm going to tell you the difference in football and flag football. And this goes for my guys. A lot of my seniors have played their last football game ever. They have. My football team, I have 15 seniors. 3 are going to college. The other 12 are done with football. These girls can play, and as soon as they get done, they can join the rec league and start playing next year. So flag football is never over. those guys that played real football have to adjust and learn the flag game. These girls are going to jump right in. And the level, I think what everybody's going to be shocked about, everybody always asks me, what is the best thing? You're going to be so shocked at how much talent the girls have at what's considered a guy's game. But you're going to be shocked at the catches, the runs, the passes, the things they do. I played the tournament in Orlando, Florida, and I saw several women making one-handed catches in the middle of a crowd, juking people and leaving them laying on the ground, all those kind of things. And you're going to see it with these high school girls, and it's going to be so exciting and so fun because you haven't seen it before. So it's like these girls are going to be the trendsetters, but it's a lifelong sport. Am I over the moon? I'm over the moon all the time. Every day I wake up, it's a good day. So God is good and takes care of us, and being around these girls makes my heart full, Charlie.
Next question, this is for all of you. What does it mean to be a part of the first flag football season in Tennessee?
It feels really good. So we're making history, and I'm really excited to see how this season is going to go. So we have a lot of seniors. I'm a senior, so this will be my first and last season. But I'm really excited. I'm glad I got to come and be a part of it.
I feel like for me, I think this is an amazing and wonderful thing I wasn't gonna play, and then my younger sister came up and she heard about the flag football, and she was like, "You're gonna play?" And she was so excited, thinking she looked at my mom and she's like, "I didn't know girls could play flag football." And my mom was like, "Yeah, they can now." And just seeing the excitement on her face, it made me want to play. And I'm very grateful I did because I enjoy it so much. But to just be a part of to literally be a part of history, and to see all the littles who can now look up and be like, "Yeah, we can play too now." That's going to be so cool. It's amazing.
And what's really cool about Alyssa from Texas has flag football, but her high school was so small, they didn't have tackle or flag. So they had basketball, which she played. And when she came here, now she's getting to play flag for the first time in Tennessee when they've had it in Texas for about 4 years.
And then last question. We talked with some of Paige's players earlier. They said they were looking forward to playing you guys. Is feeling mutual?
Yes, and Paige and us have a healthy rivalry. Rathbone wanted a scrimmage, and I knew why he wanted to do it. So I know that Paige got a lot better as we went on, and so did we. So that scrimmage was great for us, but it was very friendly. You understand the rivalry. I know a lot of people don't like Rathbone. I like Rathbone. So he's not near as good looking or charismatic as me, but he's a good dude. And so I'm trying to help him. And you know what? I'll help any of the coaches because I have played a lot, so I have some things. Not all of them work. My joystick doesn't work at practice. Summer doesn't pitch it to who I want her to. But I do think the Page Fairview game, and it's near the end of the season too. Of course, it's at Page. Darren made sure of that. And but it's all good. I mean, win, lose, or draw, everybody in Williamson County is a winner because we have this year. So we're all going to be winners. We're all going to enjoy it and just ride the wave right on to Nissan Stadium.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you,
Appreciate
Darren.
it. All right, we're going to wrap up real quick. Again, appreciate members of the media being here. We have these media days 2 or 3 times a year, and you guys always come out, and we certainly appreciate it and certainly appreciate the coverage that you give to WCS. Tate, obviously we've got to thank Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet and what they do for the sports conference. Appreciate you guys at Matthews team and Adidas and the uniforms. Let me tell you, they look good.
Wait till you see them with the shorts and the socks.
They look good. Hey, and listen, you're a guy that we thought, you and I, that they wanted the longer socks, and we got a little feedback from the press conference, and they wanted the shorter socks, right?
Yes.
which was surprising to me.
Me too. On the media guide, you see the long socks. I thought I misjudged that, but that's okay. They know what they want.
We all learned.
That's right.
I appreciate Josh Corey being here from the Titans and Emily Crowl, who's certainly excited from TSSAA. And I wish we could have had some representatives from NFL Flag here. They've just done an unbelievable job educating us, working with us. And it's a work in progress. And Coach Hughes, I don't know if Coach is still here, but one of the things that he's working on doing, which is what's really going to be important, is working on a flag league for the younger kids, whether they be boys or girls. And I think that's something that you're going to see on down the line. If this is something that's going to have staying power, I think one of my jobs is to talk to our Parks and Recreation Department. Let's get some flag leagues. And as it pertains to this sport, we need some girls-only teams too. I mean, the girls playing with the guys, I know that happens a lot with little kids, but I've had many moms and dads tell me some of the girls don't want to play with the guys even at 8 years old.
Oh, yeah, and I think it'll explode in that age group too. So I just, we talked about it earlier. The way you could see the excitement in the young ladies' faces when they were up here today and listening to them talk about it. I'm fired up. I was talking to Coach Pack. We're going to be at Nolansville at 2:00 on Sunday.
And I'm hearing a lot of talk about student sections too, so I think that's going to happen.
And talked to Independent. I talked to about 4 of them, and they all said they're not getting beat. So that's what's going to be interesting too.
Well, I was going to ask you this. Do it again before I get your comments. I want to thank Lance West, WCTV, for helping us with the live stream. Those guys, Creed and Heather, the whole crowd,
They're the best.
They do a great job. John Long and Angie Smith from MAFIAoZA, appreciate them. And then our Outside the Lines group, Tia Atkinson, Caitlin Cohey, McKinley Johnston, Brooks Taylor, behind the scenes. Tia and McKinley had an opportunity to be in front of the camera, so to speak, and they did a great job. But here's what I wanted to ask you, because I know you're getting some inside information. Talk about the teams and your expectations for who's going to do what as we finish up here.
Well, Brentwood seems to think they're going to be pretty good.
Well, you notice I said something to Coach Evans, and he never denied it.
No, he didn't back off it. and they all, strong soccer program. They have the track and field program, right? So they feel like they can run. I know Coach Mancini was talking about she said we have a girl that's fast as lightning. I was in the back, and Gabe goes, well, we got 5 that's fast as lightning. So anyways, he sold me. Of course, did you hear anybody else saying the things that Coach Hughes is talking about? I mean,
no.
I bet they've got wristbands, and there's no telling how. I think they're going to come out the sharpest early, but my early prediction is Coach Evans has made me a believer. I'm going with the Bruins.
I think they're going to be right there too. Certainly, I think Coach Hughes will do a great job there at Fairview. But after that day that we went out and did the skills clinic, I'm telling you, Franklin, I think Franklin has a lot of soccer players with that speed that we talked about. And I think, too, and I say this as a compliment with Coach Webb, you're not going to see 40 different things. You're going to see 4 or 5 things done really, really well, and I think that's going to bode well for the young ladies when this is the first time they've done it. Not that they can't do more things, like Emily said. She's like, don't tighten up the playbook. Let the playbook be the playbook. But I do think that confidence of knowing, hey, I've got to zone in on these 4 or 5 things I do well. And that's the way he coached and did it very well.
Yes. I'm going to be interested to see what the balance is run to pass. Because a lot of these guys, it's going to be tempting to them to call a pass play a lot, right? When maybe let's find out if they can pull the flags first. That's what I would do.
Well, that's interesting you say that. When the NFL flag group came in to do some training, that's one of the things they said. Let's talk about some drills to pull the flags, pull the flags, pull the flags. Don't tackle. Let's pull the flags. So that was a big discussion. And I'm also thinking, Coach Hughes was talking about who would make a good flag player. I think about Hal Mummy. I think he would make a great flag coach because there's a lot of 2 and 3 yards. Coach Hughes talked about that. There's a lot of 3-yard passes and then make a play from there. So we'll see.
A lot of running quarterback. I heard some, there's almost single wing-esque. There's going to be, there's no limit on how many times the quarterback can run. There's a couple of them that are talking about my quarterback can run and we're going to run her.
And listen, we'll finish up with this because you spend a lot of time with these guys. You know, especially when you're talking about ordering uniforms and taking them their mouthpieces and all these different things that you had to do, and we certainly appreciate you doing that. There's excitement and there's nervousness.
Oh, big time. Big time. Especially like the guys that aren't normal head coaches, right? I mean, now it's on them. You know, can't blame it on Gabe, can't blame it on Finch or Crawford now. Tay can't blame it on Coleman. So, I think it's going to be fun. And then, of course, that's the way he wants it. But I think it's very well known that Coach Hughes he definitely has the target on his back.
He does, the pressure, whether he wants it or not. Tate, appreciate you being here.
It was a blast. Very well done. And how cool is it that all these guys stayed this whole time, man?
It's great. It's great. Thank you for joining us for Girls Flag Football Media Day. We'll hope to see you at a game on Sundays.